There you go. Unmute the sound and we are now live. A few seconds of no chatting. Oh, and I need to mute my own stream. There you go. Stop all the echoing. Yeah. So yeah, welcome guys to the stream. We're going to be chatting about all of these rules. We're going to go through everything, aren't we, Josh? Yeah. Not allowed to go to work until we finish, Josh, so...
It's 6 hours, bro. 6 hours.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about. So we've got, like, a very general idea of how we're going to do it. I think we were planning on starting with the rules book and then going to the profiles. And then just a general discussion at the end about, like, maybe, like, how our armies have changed and what meta is going to be like, we think.
We're not going to do all of it. We're going to do the big changes.
Yeah.
In the longer profiles to talk about.
I think there are a few like minor things. Alright, Ben. Ben's in chat now.
Hey.
There's a few like minor changes which I'm probably going to mention because although it's only like a small rule, it could actually affect it. But certain things like, do you want to discuss war beasts?
They changed that much? I glanced at that.
So I've got written down. So war beasts auto pass courage when broken. They can't. Yeah. No brutal power attacks unless it specifies. If they trample, they don't count as charging, even if they do go into combat. So no knockdown. Never trapped, and unless it's war beast v war beast, they can't back away. There's
always count as charging on trample. They don't.
No, they never count as charging if they trample. So can never count, I guess.
It says if a
Isn't it?
trample in base contact with an enemy model, it means the combat, then all enemy models are off to the fight as long as they're trampled.
Oh, okay. So they're still not prone, but they just don't count as charging.
The extra attack apparently.
So probably the extra attack thing.
It's pretty much the same. Like the
Yeah.
brutal power shouldn't-
So yeah, we've covered war beasts. There you go, guys.
There you go. There you go.
Enjoy Dan and Whistle
Mum-
if you're watching this.
I don't know where the. Do you know where the physical profile is?
I assume that'll be in. Oh, what's the Kanto Expansion?
Oh yeah.
Because that's going to have Gothmog's Enforcer, the other Orc Captain, the two more Minister guys. So I assume it'll have the War Leader as well, including cool little thing, a few other things as well, scenarios. So honestly, I haven't read the profile except for the fact that it's a hero that can't lead troops.
The biggest buff is the big, I think 2 strength 6s now rather than 1.
That's pretty big. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall I just go down the list and then, if anything jumps out? So first off, I've got broken. It's a very minor change, but you no longer round your broken point up. It's just the moment you've gone past half your models, you are broken. So for even number armies, it's going to be the exact same. But say you have 5 models in the old edition, half your army would be 2.5, which would be rounded to 3 for your breakpoint, and then you have to exceed that, which is 4. So you'd have to kill 4 of the 5 to break the army, which is also 25% it. Now it's just you kill 3 and you're broken.
Yeah,
Which
not going to matter except for like really low model count.
Yeah.
You can break a 3 model army without taking it.
yeah, every single army except for 1 model. Oh no, I guess 2 models can't be broken. But
2 models can be break. 2 models you just kill 1 and break it, right?
no, because that's not exceeding half.
Yeah, you don't need to exceed half anymore. That's what you said, right?
I think you still exceed half. You just don't round up a half.
Sure.
Oh.
I think if you have 2 models, you just kill 1 now. That breaks the rules.
Let's see, page 54.
Rules. Yeah, really.
The book that's just come out, we know everything. Yeah. So yeah, but 1 model wouldn't be below. Okay. So yeah, so that's just.
Does that mean if you have a 20 model force and you kill 10 of them?
Apparently you need to turn your mic up. Don't know if.
Can you just
Let's see. Alright, I've turned it up in Discord.
Okay. Any better? It's Rob, isn't it, on Facebook?
Yeah, Rob said, but Ben said as well in chat. just in case I'll put you up to 200%.
Sure. Is it better, Ben, because you're in chat, so you can...
Yeah.
I don't know if I can turn it up, to be honest. It's pretty much as close as it gets in my mouth, so...
Yeah, we'll see how that goes then. Hopefully it's better now. So yeah, that's broken. Another minor thing is make way. So if you still make way at the end of the movement phase, and it's the person... No, not make way. I don't know why I've put make way. Splitting combats. So you still do it at the end of the movement phase. However, if magic comes into effect and something like Sorcerer's Black and just knocking down the entire combat, the person with priority splits the fights instantly, if they wish. They don't have to.
Yeah, that's fine.
So if I'm casting magic, I'm not splitting the fights. If you're casting magic, I'm splitting the fights. Generally.
Sure.
The cavalry break. Go on.
Yeah, cavalry breakpoint's the same, right? You just gotta pair them on.
Yeah, it's just pairing up. It's just clarifying it, so it's not the FAQ anymore.
The big change. Heroic actions and magic rolling.
Yeah, I was gonna say the next thing I've got is.
Apparently, I'm still quiet, which is I don't know what I can do. I'll see if I can fiddle with Discord.
Is that from Ben's comment? Because that was before.
Yeah.
That's before I changed it up.
Ben pinged me in a private message just now. I'll see if I can fiddle with it. So you keep talking about the rules changes that you found.
The next thing I was going to go on to would be the heroics. Let's see. Can I? Do I have anything else small? I guess I'll talk about Hell because that's just a general thing. So Hell's been significantly nerfed, but at the same time balanced. It's now just D3 inches that you hurl the model rather than D6 plus the difference in strength, and it's also a straight line. You get about the middle of each model's base, draw a straight line. That is the line that they're thrown across, so you can't do any of these crazy hurls. Obviously, that's not the straight line thing isn't too crazy. It's just you got to position your guy a lot better, which is I think it's definitely the way it should be done.
Can I just ask you to test it? See if this is loud. I'm not sure what this is going to do.
Yeah, I guess
the high change is just good. Like D6 was way too far.
Yeah. Two things as well that I noticed with the hurl. It now knocks over everyone in combat. It's not just the models that it hits. And also,
so that's good.
Yeah. Cavalry don't get auto roll over 1, so you still do Flame Rider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't specify in the hurl rule, so.
The way that it used to be is that if you go knocked prone as a cavalry model, you counted as rolling a 1.
Yeah. So, whereas now you just take the strength 3 for the guy getting through you, and then you roll the dice. So if you had a 1, then you take the strength 3 hit. If not, it's just the 1 strength 3.
Fair enough. And then on to, I guess, the first big change, which is the new heroics and the moving of the old ones to specific profiles.
Yeah, so there's now, what is it, like
7,
so
8?
there's 4 new heroics and there were 6, so there's 10 now. So,
and 7 of them are hero specific.
Yeah. So every single hero has heroic move, heroic shoot, and heroic combat. All the other heroics, as Josh said, are very specific. So certain heroes will have heroic strike, certain heroes will have heroic channel, but for example, a goblin captain will not have heroic channel, so they can't call it, type thing.
Calling heroic channels with your goblin captain before. I don't know what you were thinking.
I don't know, you never know, some crazy tactics. The old ones haven't changed, have they? So strike, march, and accuracy are the exact same, and channel. So there's no point talking about those. No. So I guess the first one is heroic resolve.
Very good.
I'm just gonna give a brief explanation because I'm not gonna read everything. It's basically heroic resolve is called in the move phase. All friendly models within 6 inches of the hero get 1 free dice to resist spells, and this does stack with other things like resistant to magic.
You basically just get resistant to magic as a plus, and then if you already have it, you get 2 to the 1, so you get fortified. If you're fortified, you get 3, which I mean, it's got a use, but
It's
know.
I don't think it's gonna get used a lot. It's a cool little heroic, but
I can't see myself using it like
No.
not much. Like maybe if you're trying to run off the board and recon and you don't want one of your guys like compelled forward, so he's gonna get jumped on by like a ring rifle on a foul beast or something. But
yeah,
I mean, other than that, I can't really see people using this. Like it's cool, but yeah.
it's a bit like
I don't think it's gonna be used very
accuracy.
much.
Bit like accuracy.
Yeah, I
it's
think
not
accuracy is
used all the
better
time.
though, because accuracy has like a lot of uses. If you want to shoot at people on the back lines, if you want to shoot at heroes, even though it doesn't happen, it's got a clear use. Whereas this, I mean, it's not like you're saying they can't be targeted or anything. It's just you get a free dice. So if I roll 3 dice for my ring rifle at like a 5 or a 6, you're probably still gonna get, immobilized anyway. So I don't know. It's too inconsistent. I mean, I can almost never see myself using this, but I'm fine with it being there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So next one is the rest of them are now over the fight phase. So shooting's not going any more heroics, but
It's worth mentioning that Heroic March is one of the ones that's on pretty much every captain profile. I think they just have Heroic Marches. Captains and chieftains and the like.
fair
They
enough.
don't strike or anything, so. So captains and chieftains now have a role, so you might be worth putting them in instead of like Gorbag, because I assume Gorbag doesn't have it, but I think you're still probably going to take
Yeah, but
Gorbag.
Gorbag's got a sweet special rule, right?
Yeah, and he's got 3 mine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you might put in 1 chieftain or 1 captain to get the march into your list, but.
So yeah, the next 3 are for the fight phase. So we'll go with heroic defense first. So if you call a heroic defense, you are only ever wounded on a natural 6, regardless of special rules or brute power attacks or any modifiers. If you'd be wounded on worse than a 6, so a 6 by a 5, you are then wounded on a natural 6 followed by a 5. So you can't use any might, can't use any special rules at all to modify your roll, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, this one's. It won't come up like super often, it's not going to be like heroic strike or combat or anything, but it's probably going to come up in a lot of games if you use it.
It's like if your leader's got heroic defense and they manage to get like a combat hero into them.
Yeah, it's really good against. If your opponent stacks like the twins on you because they both have 3 might, you can't might the dice. So it's good in that. The biggest one is if you're fighting someone like Azog or Aragorn who have swords that wound you on 3s, wound you on 4s, or special rules that wound you on 3s. There's a lot of strength 5 belly models, so.
Yeah, the natural 6 will be.
Yeah, it's useful. It's not going to be like game breaking or anything, but it's got its uses. It's interesting. It's on some strange here. I think Arwen has it, which is like.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. It's like you got heroes like Boromir and stuff like that.
Boromir makes sense.
It works completely fine for them. Yeah, Arwen's got it. I know Frodo's got it, but that kind of makes sense because of Mithril Cloak.
The cave troll too. I think that's what that's for. So cave trolls can't render.
But yeah, the Arwen being a tank.
Like, I don't know about Arwen having it. I don't know why she's got it. But.
Yeah. So I guess. Sorry.
Heroic Strength, I guess, is the next one. You call it in the fight phase. It gives you D3 plus D3 Strength for that turn. So it's hard counted by Heroic Defense, but which I guess is fair. It's pretty good. Like, I think like Dane has it and people like that. So yeah,
Dane's
if you enjoy that one, they can still piercing strike.
Grimbold's got it. Thryden's got it.
Just the big like choppy heroes.
Yeah.
You can't give Dane an axe though, so he can't go to strength 9. He's named.
No, you can't. Thryden, you can though. I believe Thryden's strength 5.
Is he strength 9, baby?
I might be wrong about that. I know he's fight 5. That was one of the things I checked because he was just.
You can get Thryden a horse, right? You can get Thryden a horse, right?
Yeah. 95 points on horse.
He has a reasonable chance of one-shotting a Balrog.
Yeah, he's strength 5.
If
he's got mighty blow.
Yeah, if you heroic strength and piercing straight, you get strength 9 potentially.
Well, he only gets 3 attacks.
You trap him there because I'm pretty sure that Balrog can still be trapped. And then you have 6 dice swooping on 4s. If you have 5 of them, you one-shot the Balrog.
Oh no, it'd be on 3s because you have to 2-handed weapon to get the piercing strike.
Oh, even better. So that's pretty good actually. You can mate it too. Yeah, if you win that fight, you can probably one-shot. Can you trap? Yeah, I think he can be. Looks like he can.
But
Pretty good. Do that.
I'm liking the new Threaten profile, to be fair. But yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot better than the old one.
Yeah, old one was not the best. But yeah, so that's heroic strength. Probably used even less than defense.
Yeah, probably.
Like it's really cool, but I can't see Dane running into troops and calling heroic strength. It's just a waste of might.
It's got the same problem as Resolve. God, my mic sounds pretty bad in your thing. It's got the same problem as Resolve, where it's not giving you like a specific buff.
Mm-hmm.
With defense, you're always winning on 6s. You could call a heroic strength, go up by 1 strength, and it doesn't really make any difference. So
yeah,
it's not perfect, but yeah, it could be used. Yeah, Friday versus the Balrog. You want to try him?
Yeah.
So, you got to try it. Someone please try and do that.
I need to try and do that. I think. Do I now take Thryden? Oh no, because it's good versus evil at Sterling.
It is indeed, but for the next like 6 months, everyone's going to
be
be
the same.
the Balrog. So,
It's going to be the same at Throne of Skulls.
You could. That'd be really funny.
But that'll be good versus evil as well.
Does that enforce good versus evil matchups?
The Games Workshop events usually do.
Oh, okay. I just thought that you had good v evil sides, but you could play evil v evil.
Fair point, yeah.
I haven't been to a Throne of Skulls, so I don't know.
No, Throne of Skulls was both armies, I'm pretty sure.
It's 1,000 points, wasn't it, last year?
Yes.
Was it only? I thought it was only 1,000 points more. Whatever. It's if you can get a matchup where you can get the Balrog into Friday, please try and do it.
Yeah, will do. So now on to the last heroic, which is the one which has been discussed the most and also I think overhyped slightly.
Yeah, it's overrated.
Which is the heroic challenge. So basically, if your hero, sorry, I can hear a weird noise. If your hero is in base contact with another hero, you declare a challenge. If they accept, then every single turn, if possible, they must both charge each other, and no one else can join the combat. Whichever hero is successful in slaying the opponent gains D3 might, which is, I thought was just, you get the D3 might, but if your opponent kills you and you've challenged them, they get D3 might as well, which is pretty funny. And it can take them above their starting level. And if you decline a challenge, then the hero that declined, their heroic actions do not affect anyone else until your hero is dead. Yeah. And it's also worth mentioning, you can only challenge someone on the same heroic tier or higher than you. So you couldn't have Aragorn challenging a Goblin Captain. But if the Goblin Captain had heroic challenge...
That's really as far as
but if the Goblin Captain had heroic challenge, he could do it the other way.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's got like super fringe use. If you have it, you can make use of it. I don't know who has it actually, but you only really want to do it if you like. There'll be some situations where you want to essentially neuter their heroic combat sling, so you call a challenge.
Yeah.
But the thing is, even if they like mob you with dudes and you heroic challenge their leader, they're just gonna say no and kill you anyway. So it doesn't matter.
If the enemy leader or something is in combat, they can just decline, walk away, and then get their guys to deal with you anyway.
Yeah.
Also, you need to get in base contact to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
so if you get like your big choppy hero on their big choppy hero, but yours is better. So like you get, I don't know if Azog has it, but if you get like your Azog on their Fader for a turn, you can essentially pin him by calling a heroic challenge. And if he says no, then he's not calling any heroics.
But the thing is, even if... So we get into combat, and I've got like Azog against whoever your leader is.
Mm-hmm.
I call a heroic challenge, you decline. We still do the combat phase. So I'm still probably one-shotting you as Azog, right?
Yeah, that was the thing that I was thinking about. Like, if you get those matchups, you probably should kill the person anyway. Yeah. The other thing is that it only stops the heroes, like, declining the challenge isn't that bad. Because it doesn't stop you from calling heroics, it stops you from affecting allies with your heroics. So you just don't call a heroic move with Fade, and, Hammer over here is going to call a heroic move.
Yeah.
And, Fade is just going to strike or something, or ride off somewhere else until Azog's dead. So
it's still, like, really cool. I think this is going to be very interesting for Contest of Champions. Because if you get set up, you get the charge off, heroic challenge them, it's like, well, so if I kill you, I get D3 might. If you decline, you're not getting your heroics.
It kind of sucks that if you call a challenge and the opponent declines it, you don't get your might back. I wonder whether that would make it better. Like, I don't know. It just seems hard to get yourself into a position where this is going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I don't know. It's cool.
It'd be
I
interesting
don't
to
think
see.
Aowen has it, which was the profile I thought would have it. Like, you know.
I don't think Eowyn would. I think her special rule makes up for the part in the movie that people think that she should have the challenge for, which is the defending Théoden's body. She doesn't really challenge the Witch King. She's more just like, yeah, I'm not letting you touch him. So.
Yeah, but that only procs when Théoden dies. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So you just sort of
He's pretty much
Richie
dead
in
at
that
that point.
situation. I just leave her behind, fly off somewhere else, fly by.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's it.
funny heroics. I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure how much. We'll see. Heroic move's still going to be the biggest one.
Yeah,
Hands down.
combats are big too.
I think
but moves and combats.
moves and combat's still going to be the best.
This is going to come back to someone later, but big heroes are a lot better now. Like the likes of Elendil and Gil-galad have been buffed really a lot. So there's not going to, because those models are so expensive, but they have the same might as people like Gorbag. There's not going to be as much might on the board for a lot of armies. You know, if you especially with the bigger warbands, which lets you take those heroes. Like I think you can get like Elendil, Gil-galad, both with their capped legendary warbands, with 800 points. But then it's a 6 might, 800 point army.
What was
So,
it? I wrote a list which was Durin with 16 Hearthguard, which they barely hazards, and Galadriel with 18 elves. That's 800 points.
Yeah, so you can do lists like that, and they're really strong, but
You got 6 might.
it's whether the might, even like lists that I've been building, because I kind of want to play Candish. It's what I'm playing for the new edition, and because their heroes only have 2 might, you know, I'm looking at 8 might for an army that looks like there's going to be a lot less might on the board in situations. I'm sure some people like Stephen Bonner will still run like 7 warbands. Each of his heroes have 2 or 3 mights. There'll still be
Good old
those
Bonner.
might armies. But, or like David Cubley might still run his Kingdoms of Men stuff, where he gets a load of the high, like Gondor can still get quite a lot of might in. But I don't think there's going to be as much because I think elves and dwarves are still pretty good. So elves especially. So we'll see how much might there is, but it's cool because it opens up a lot of different things you can do. I don't know how often it's going to happen, but it is cool. I like it. I'm a fan of that change.
Yep. So that is all the heroics.
Yep.
We've covered
It's
Hell.
probably worth mentioning in this though that heroic strike, like I think Jamie mentioned it in his speak friend and question thing, but not having heroic strike on everyone's a really big deal.
Yeah.
You've got to get models into your army that have it because it's a really good. The Aowen rules suck. Sorry, I've just seen Ben's thing. It's okay. Like it's not as easy as I've made it out to be to just fly away from where the middle of the fight's happening. But yeah, it's a bit awkward if someone does just leave her behind.
Yeah. She is pinned in place, but at the end of the day, you're not taking Eowyn to be a combat hero. You're taking Eowyn to be a warband leader and to get 2 points of might in your army.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
sure, she's pinned to that position, but one, they've got to kill Théoden.
it's super situational.
2, you've already had your Rohan charge, which is probably going to do a lot of damage, and then you just use Eowyn's might first if you're worried about them killing Théoden. So, and
The other thing is, it's hopefully going to be near end game when Théoden dies. If you just hang him around somewhere important, then sorry, I've got echo in my headset. Hang around somewhere important or like on an objective, then she has to hang around if he dies on that objective, and it's not too bad. But yeah, she's okay. She's not great. I mean, the 2s everywhere are pretty nice though. 5 and 2s everywhere. She still looks good. I'd still probably play her. She has, on topic, she has heroic strike. Good segue back in.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. You take her. You take her.
Yeah, heroic strike's really good. You still want it. Not having it on basic captains just makes those bigger heroes even better. So like your Danger Azogs, your Elendils now, and Gil-galads are really hard to kill.
Run Eowyn into Azog. Strike!
She's only strength 3. She has a heroic strength though, so she can go to strength 6.
Can't do both though.
No, cannot do both.
Shame. Get someone else in there.
If she calls her heroic strength and you've got your bonus on the charge against an infantry model, she has 6 dice, potentially strength 6 with +1 to wound and re-rolling any failed wounds. So.
Wait, why +1 to wound?
That's a bonus. She gets +1 to wound and re-rolls fail to wound when she Just use around fading against the model.
Oh, with the third thing. Oh, okay. I thought you just meant in general. I was like, what?
No.
Crazy, Josh.
Yeah. So get heroic strikes into your list. They're really good. Some profiles that have lost it are a lot worse than they were. The Golden King's one of them. Like before, you used to be able to just toss him on like a hero with a couple other dudes and strike up. And if he won the combat, he was the Golden King, so he just one-shot them. Whereas now he's only fight 4, and that's a really big deal now. But yeah, overall, good changes. I like heroic strike being restricted, although it does change a lot of things.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more thinking about who you're going to put in your list and where you're going to put them on the battlefield as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so next thing, which has had some changed, there's a couple of weapon changes. So this is non-strikes to start with. There's no... I'll just go over these quickly because it's not really massive changes, really.
A lot of them were expected to.
Yeah, so there's... Oh, this is before special strikes.
But I mean like even throwing weapons and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So, hand and half swords, you can go single-handed or two-handed with them. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You get elven made weapons, so that's now the elven blade reroll. So you can now split. It kind of splits it.
Yeah, they're just splitting the elven blade up, so you can have things like your Candish now don't have to carry elven blades.
Yeah.
Basically,
they have an elven blade.
They can have a hand and a half axe rather than an elven blade. So which is it's a good change. Like the name sounds a bit funny to me at first, but I've kind of adjusted to it now, and I just use it normally.
Yeah. Master forged weapons. If you two-handed, you don't get the master ones from the fight.
I've only seen 2 master forged weapons, and one was Gimli and one was Elendil's sword.
Yeah, I was going to say those are the only... Oh, Durin.
Oh, does Durin have it?
Durin's got a master forged axe.
Yeah. And Durin, not master forged though.
No, it's basically...
too strong, but...
Basically the really powerful dwarf made weapons.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And Narsil, because Elendil's busted.
Isn't Narsil a dwarf made weapon?
I thought it was elves. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Calvin told me it was a dwarf one, so...
Hey, maybe it is.
Pikes. If you know how...
dwarves, yeah, he's right.
So if you have a pike and you also have a bow, crossbow, or shield, you get -1 to win the fight. Sorry?
That's fair, I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Initially I thought this was a massive change, but I was talking to Barney and he was just like, honestly, I'm still going to run them because it's still extra dice to win the fight. Sure, you can't get the 6, but then you still got crossbow and stuff. They're not as powerful, but you don't want your crossbows off on the side doing nothing.
No, I know, but you can just swing them around flanks, right? Trap people. I don't know. I mean, Berserkers and Ferals got worse too, right?
Yeah.
So
Ferals significantly, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a lot worse. So, I mean, you might just not run the same type of list. You can still do like
it's changed a lot. I think
you can still do crossbow like front rank and then pikes behind them, and I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I don't know.
You can now. Although profiles have weapons stated, so like Gondor, it states they've got a sword. For warriors, you can change what weapon they have. It's 1 point a model. So you can have a Gondor warrior with an axe. You just have to pay an extra point. You can have a troll with a different weapon. You have to pay an extra point. Any warriors can do that. And then unnamed heroes can also do the same thing, but it costs 5 points. So you can still do converts.
It's only 1 point to give an Ent an axe. Just throwing that one out there. Ents can carry axes. Treebeard can't. Treebeard's got to go with his reason. Yeah, Eagles with axes. Yeah. Hell yeah. On the right page right there. It's the type of thing I love to hear. Even though they're a lot worse than they used to be, still want to see them everywhere.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. See what else?
I'm gonna look at bat swarms with axes. Perfectly legal. Encouraged even.
Cave trolls.
Cave trolls can carry hammers. I'm just looking for.
Yeah, you make it an axe and then you go burly.
Yeah, burly 200. I don't know because it's the axe to be one-handed, so it's not worth it.
Oh yeah.
It's a two-handed hammer they have.
Let's see. Next thing, throwing weapons. You don't get the -1 to shoot if you're charging. You still get it if you do a move and shoot though. war drums, it's been clarified that you can, well, not clarified, but it's been modified so you can stack it with March. There's no more, this is done after heroics. So,
did you know you used to be able to?
Well, because the wording for the drum was after heroics have been called and resolved, you do this. And technically, a march isn't resolved until the hero's moved. So you because of the wording, you technically couldn't. Yeah, it was an awkward thing. I'm pretty sure it was FAQ'd at some point, but you can now have movement 14 scouts.
Yeah, definitely do it.
Yeah.
But only 12 of them?
Only 12, yes.
Yeah.
Elven Cloaks, massive change. I was going to say nerf, but I guess they're only like a point now. And 5 points.
5 points for heroes.
Yeah. So the Elven Cloak only obscures you if you're behind terrain. So models in the way does not block line of sight anymore. So you can't have dwarves at the front with wizards behind, or wood elves, new wood elves behind.
Or as you were planning, Rohan Helmingers with wizards behind. Can't do that. Well, you can, but they don't
you can do that, but they're not hidden anymore. Which good change.
The biggest thing is that you can't just give your hero an elven cloak and sit in behind 4 ranks of dudes.
Yeah.
Who's your leader? Oh, it's Legolas with an elven cloak. Well, not getting those DPs.
Yeah.
So it's how it used to go. Now you actually got to hide them behind terrain and not 4 ranks of dwarves. So good change. It was really frustrating before.
And then the last one before we go on to the actual strikes, Warhorn. It now only affects your force, so it doesn't affect the entire army, I believe.
Oh, so it only affects friendly keyworded models or something.
I believe so, because it says all models in your force, and I'm pretty sure in the last edition force specified.
I think the force is just army.
Or is the force the entire thing now? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's
that was one thing I wasn't too sure.
I'll check.
Just because it says force rather than army. I was like, does that mean each contingent is a different force?
I'm pretty sure they're just synonymous.
Fair enough.
I'll check though.
So that may be changed, it may not be changed.
Do you want to talk about the special strike changes?
Where's it gone? Gone too fast. Yeah, so special strikes. Still the exact same. Well, there's one new special strike. Most of them are still the same. So Bash is the exact same, and Whirl is the exact same.
Is Bash the exact same? I thought it changed slightly.
No, Bash is the same. Both roll a dice, add your strength. If you're higher, they get knocked prone.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking of stun.
You're thinking stun, yeah. But you can have the first model fighting Bash, and then all your other guys get double strikes against them.
Yeah, which is good, because that's the big use of it. So.
But then you can't do that with Throne Rider, because Throne Rider is done at the end of the combat phase. Or at the end of the combat. It specifies that now. So no killing the horse and getting everyone else to double strikes.
That doesn't matter. Can the chariots knock them down anyway?
Indeed. The next one is Feint, and the new one's Stab. So Feint, if you have a higher fight value, or is it equal? Equal or higher fight value to your opponent, then Feint is the exact same. No change whatsoever. If you, however, have a lower fight value, and you fail to win the fight, it turns from a Feint into a Stab, and you take a strength 2 hit. So somehow, you just stabbed yourself. Because you're an idiot.
Yeah, this is pretty big. As far as fainting's concerned, you're not going to do it with hobbits and elves anymore, just because you can't do it for free. But they're just not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, there's going to be very few times that you'll actually use stab, I guess.
Yeah, it's just
still faint to me. I don't know. It's still faint. It's just if you fail.
You don't need to remember stab because no one's ever going to use it. So.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd use it if you had 5
guys
hobbits with spears and then an elven twin on one model. You stab with all the hobbits because you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're probably just not going to do it because most of the models that can feint for free defense 6 or lower, so there's a reasonable chance that they just kill themselves doing it. So.
Yeah, Goblin Town kill themselves on 5s.
Yeah, Goblin Town do not want to be doing this.
No.
Goblin Town hobbits. But even Gondor and stuff don't want to be doing it. If you defend 7, you could probably try to get away with it.
Because 6x4s, but if it's just 6s, it's a bit risky.
I don't know what's defense 7 and has a sword.
Gondor. With Shield Wall.
Oh yeah, of course. True. Shield Wall. Yeah, that's fine.
Cataphracts. with the shield wall.
Someone this happened in the post because I messaged you about it. Someone commented before the book came out saying like, "What are the new rules for Easterlings?" And someone replied, "Easterling cavalry now have shield wall when mounted." And I like sent it to Gethin. It was like people are just making stuff up now. And then the rulebook came out and they had it, and I was like, what the hell? Why do they have that? So whoever that was, I'm sorry for doubting you. I really am. I really didn't think they'd have that rule. It's such a weird rule.
It is pretty funny.
You can have battle lines of cavalry.
Yeah.
They're not even that bad.
I think...
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a bit. So I'll quickly do stun. Stun is now modified. Instead of a 4+, to stun the opponent, it's now 5+. Stun wasn't used a lot, but when it was used, it was pretty devastating. You'd have a hobbit running up to Smaug and bonk him on the nose, and now he's 1 attack, 5 value 1.
Some might call that a silly rule.
Yeah.
It's still a little bit silly, but I guess it has to be that silly. Because in those fringe rules, like where it says a hobbit stunning Smaug, it's gonna be like, but in the other ones.
One thing I've literally just noticed from reading it, it says if the target's a monster, it's a 6.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
I think that's it's better.
It's better.
And then we got the good old piercing strike. So, if you win the fight, you now increase your strength by 1. So, no more going to strength 7 with good old Helmingas or dwarves. But if you lose...
6 hobbits with a real offense.
Yeah, I guess strength 6 hobbits. But if you lose, you still lose D3 defense. So it's just as much of a hindrance with only a slight gain. And in some situations, it'll be pointless to do it. Like,
if you don't...
Strength 3 against defense 6, there's no point.
No, strength 4 against defense 6. Strength 3 takes you strength 4.
Oh yeah, 4 against 6.
Anywhere they're 2 above you, it's not worth it because the wound shot goes up in 2s. 1 isn't enough to actually change the dice roll. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there'll be situations where it's never wise to piercing strike. It's only a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
it was kind of an expected thing. I still think that piercing strike is still probably the best.
Yeah, like, it's still good.
I'm still running Helmingas with axes.
It's the biggest impact. Like +1 to wound is miles better than like rerolling ones.
Yeah.
Because rerolling ones is you have another like 1 in 6 shot, whereas +1 to wound is please
strength.
+1 strength. Which I mean, you're only going to do it when it's +1 to wound, but yeah, it's an extra 1 on the dice roll rather than rerolling it. So it's like if you assuming you're fighting against a model that you normally wound on 6s, piercing striking kills 6 times as many models as fainting. Like the bonus does, because rerolling is nowhere near as good. So yeah, it's still super good. It's just not going to be like I'm 1 on 6 models, but I may as well piercing strikes if I were.
Yeah.
Or just along the battle line, people won't just be doing it every fight anymore. But yeah, still good. I think that's probably the better change. I was skeptical at first, but the more I think about it, the more I think that's the best way to have the rule be used. So
that's it for all the strikes and stuff. So the next thing I'm going to discuss, and I'm going to have you talk about this, so I can rest my voice. Magic.
Oh no.
You're a big Magic user. I guess I am as well, but
I think everyone who goes to tournaments.
That's a fair point.
Who's ever been top half is probably Magic.
You're a big fan of Double Wizard. There you go. So you can.
Yeah, I played a lot of Saruman.
Yeah.
He's not in the book anymore. I don't know what his rules are anymore.
What's still the old, still the Hobbit hero stuff, isn't it?
He's not in the PDF actually. Gandalf and Radagast are in it, but Saruman the White isn't. But his name Saruman the White is in the White Council. So currently there's not a profile for him because it doesn't say the Wise, it says the White. But I think someone did say that PDF that went up was wrong.
They've now uploaded the full one. I actually have it open, so I can have a check.
Oh, do you? Yeah, you can have a look if you want.
Wait, I've got White Council, Saruman the White.
Yeah, it's just Saruman the White. You might want to check if it's there, but I couldn't find it when I scrolled down.
Fair enough.
But yeah, magical powers. There's a lot more of them. They're all in the book. The big ones got worse. So like, I'm not gonna go through all of them because it's about 40 or something, like 30 maybe. It's a lot of effort. The big ones that have changed are the immobilize, transfix, command, compel. They now
there's 19 that are either new or modified.
Well, I'm not doing that. I'm off it. The big ones are command, compel, immobilize, transfix. They still stop you from moving. They still stop you from making strikes, I believe.
Yeah.
That's still a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They can't declare heroic action if they make a strike if they win a duel. So it's still sort of like a disabling tool, but it's not an assassination tool, which was the problem before. You'd like run a Lendl out and like 4 ring wraiths would immobilize him, and you're like, well, shit. what do I do? Because they're just going to charge him and kill him. Whereas now they have to actually beat him in a heroic strike. But if you immobilize someone, they can't call heroic actions.
Mm-hmm.
You still can. So you can still do that. It's just you need to put more in.
Yeah.
You got to invest the might to beat him. And if they're far enough better, so like if you've got Gilgalad, then yeah, you can immobilize him, but he's going to be fight 9, you're going to be fight 5. He's probably still going to beat you anyway. So I think it's still really good. Immobilize Transfix. It's still a really strong spell. I don't think
not
Wizards
as powerful.
It's not as powerful. It's not as obnoxious as well.
Yeah.
Like it was really unfun to just have your big heroes immobilized and then mobbed by a load of basic troops and killed. Was the thing that really sucked. Now, if you want to immobilize someone, you've got to get your own heroes on them. You've got to invest more resources to actually killing them. It's not just a passive thing that happens. So yeah, it's a good change. As a precursor, I don't think Wizards are as bad as some people are making them out to be. Like people are talking about them like they're pretty much dead in the water, or not talking about them at all. But I still think they're okay. Some of the new spells that are really good too.
I think Wizards are still good. Ring Wraiths, not as much.
No, there's one, my boy, that's tainted.
We'll get on. Yeah. Some of them.
To these models before,
I think there's 4 of them. I still think are good. The other 5, not so much. And it's not the 4 that you would take in the last edition as well. Which is really interesting. Just quickly, there is in the PDF Saruman the Wise profiles there. No Saruman the White.
I checked it. I don't think.
So there's no. So it says Saruman the White in the White Council, but there's no profile. And I've just checked the Isengard one. He's just Saruman.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just a mistake. I think the implication is that profile. Yeah. But the other changes are Social Blast now only knocks down, pushes the first model and stops on the first model that hits. Whoops.
Good change.
Lost the stream.
Very good change.
Yeah. So I hated play so like I played it, but God, every time I used it to knock down like 10 models, it made me feel sick.
I'm the exact same.
It's just annoying and boring, and it sucked for everyone. So.
I think every competitive army I've taken either had Saruman or Gandalf in, but it's too strong.
Yeah, it was too strong, and it was really annoying to do.
Knockdown is the most powerful thing in the game.
And unfun. But it's cool that you can still fire a warrior into like a hero on a horse.
Yeah.
With heroes being as strong as they are. Like magic still operates as a counter in a lot of ways to these big heroes. It's just not as obnoxious. And the heroes themselves have gotten a lot stronger and points efficient.
Yeah.
And there's some new spells. There's like
probably worth mentioning change to Fury.
I was gonna say Fury got worse. It's now you don't get a save if you try and get a 6-up rather than 6-up 5-up. It's still good.
The best thing about Fury was the courage check thing.
Yeah,
which is still there.
Most lists. I mean, things like Isengard ran it for the 5-up saves because 5-up saves is really obnoxious.
Yeah.
A lot of lists will still fit 1 in. You probably won't see like 2 Shamans in a list.
No.
Just because it's probably not worth it anymore. But yeah, a lot of lists, especially higher points, that just fit in 1 to guarantee past courage.
Mm-hmm.
It's still kind of obnoxious because if I have a Shaman, your Men of Gondor are more likely to run than my Goblins when we break. But yeah, it's better than it was. Like I don't like things that give free saves in this game. Like the thing with Fate is that you have to invest something and you can like pull Fate out.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas it really sucks when you had like Aragorn and 4 dudes fighting this one Uruk-hai, and you win and deal like 5 wounds to him or 4 wounds to him, and he passed all of them. It's like, well, I didn't even play anything. That was just a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Or even just like you do a wound to a mob that saves. It just felt very obnoxious. So I'm glad it's as close to gone as possible. Now they have to invest something if they want to save at all.
And then 6-up now as well instead of 5-up if they do.
Yeah. So it's a worse save. People probably won't channel it anymore. I don't think it's worth channeling.
Yeah.
Just too risky.
Agreed.
There's a bunch of other like spells changes. The strangest one to me is the Instill Fear.
I think that's so good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's whether you'll be able to pull it off against a lot of armies, but essentially you cast it, and everyone around the caster has to pass a courage test, or if they fail, they run directly away from it.
And it's
stopping on other models or terrain.
You do the courage checks in the order chosen by the caster, so you do the guys first.
So you can't like do the ones closest to the caster, so they run away into the models behind them and stop. because the caster picks will do the spears first and then the warriors. But
yeah, it's just the fact that you can walk forward and be like, just part the waves and charge the banner. Yeah,
it really disrupts battle lines. Like, you only need to push off like a few models and make a couple gaps in the line to really mess battle lines up.
Can they?
So I think it's pretty good. I think that's one of the standout ones to me.
And they can't move any further as well. So if you have priority, you instill fear the guys. You're outnumbering them, like jumping on the spears.
The only thing is that a lot of lists that I think are good have pretty good courage.
Yeah.
Like Gondor or courage 4 now, and you might include a Warhorn to take it to 5. Numenor's to stay. Elves are good now. Fury's still a thing. So again, courage has problems. Trying to force people to fail courage is like hard in general.
Also, I believe everyone with instill fear is only a 3-inch range. I believe. So
really? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Ring Wraiths and the Angmar or Shaman have it, and I'm pretty sure they're all 3-inch. So obviously it's not crazy.
Yeah, Angmar or Shaman has it.
Angmar or Shaman doesn't have Transfix or Fury. It's got Wither.
It's Wither, I thought. Not
Wither and Instill Fear.
You have Instill Fear? What the hell? Why?
Don't know.
It's so weird. Like, I get Wither, but Instill Fear is kind of weird. It might be worth putting in just for Instill Fear. Like,
for an Angmar army, I think they're actually worth for that.
Oh yeah, because we can come to that later again. But
is it a 4+?
Good. Sorry,
is it a 4+ for the Shaman? I don't know if you got it.
It's a 5+.
5, yeah. Okay. Still pretty good.
Yeah. You'd throw Afraid and try and mess someone's lines up. But yeah, I think that's most of them. There's a bunch of others.
I'm just trying to think.
Shatter's only one weapon. It's not all of them, but it's still good.
You also
still really good.
It's war gear as well, not weapon.
Oh yeah.
So you can get rid of armor.
Arguably better than it was, to be honest.
However, you can't shatter mounts.
No.
And you also can't shatter things like claws and teeth.
Yeah, that's a big change. You can't shatter an eagle's claws. But, I mean, you can everyone's gonna be busting out their big heroes, trying to have fun with Gilgalad and stuff. So you just break their swords and stuff and make it harder for them to do what they want. So yeah, Shatter's still really good.
Yeah.
Especially because other shamans got worse. If anything, I'd say Black Shield shamans are better now than they were because of how the game works around them. But
Tremor's kind of cool, but you're probably never using it.
Yeah, it's got a reduced gun half to it. It's only 6 inches. It's not 2d6, which is average 7. But they can't break things like Staffs of Power anymore, which was pretty much what they were used for before. They just run around against a Ring Wraith, the wizard, and try and pretend your staff is broken, like they were the Witch King. But yeah, they're still good. They're still really good. I really rate Black Shield Shamans.
So we're not going to go into detail, but I'll just mention the other new spells and stuff. Actually, I want to mention Blinding Light change. It's a very slight one. It now only affects friendly. Because in the old rules it said all models, so your opponent would get affected, but yeah. So, new ones, Blessing of the Valor, you get Fate Point back. Collapsed Rocks, the target has to be in a rocky piece of terrain, they take a Strength 5 hit. If it's channeled, it's all models within 2 inches, take a Strength 5 hit. Enchanted Blades, reroll to wound. Channeled is +1 to wound. We've gone over Instill Fear. Protection of the Valor. This one's kind of cool. So can target themselves or a friendly model within 3 inches. They can't be targeted by any magical powers or special rules. And if that's channeled, then it's all models within 3 inches.
Is that the good version of Heroic Resolve?
Yeah.
It's attached to spell.
That's just a spell. That could work quite well. It's very situational, but it could be pretty cool. If you're getting some models off the board edge, for recon or something, you just pop that and they just can't stop you.
Shroud of Shadows. This one's a little strange for me. I don't know where this one's from.
Who has this? I think it's only Ashrak. Ashrak's the only person I found with Shroud of Shadows, and it can only target spiders.
Ashrak has it?
It basically, you target a model, they get the ring pretty much for line of sight. So they can't be seen, and they have to take courage checks to charge with -1 for each inch.
If anyone knows where this is from, please tell me, because I've got no clue what the base is. I read this, I was like, what the hell is this? It's so weird, but I guess it's okay. Yeah, Ashrak does have it. Okay. I mean, it's just, I don't know why you'd take it in that list, because you got Bat Swarms. But...
Yeah. Well, yes, and they made the Spider Queen invisible.
Yeah, true. Made the Balrog invisible.
They can only target spiders.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Is it really?
Otherwise, that'd be crazy. What? Invisible
Wait,
Balrog.
you sure it can only target spell? Where does it say that?
Doesn't it say that in the spell? Oh, in his thing. I might be wrong.
Oh, it's special rule for Ashrak. Only he may only use his invisible thing on spiders.
But yeah, I don't
give
think...
it to someone else, which they probably won't. But
yeah, so I think that's just him, and then maybe something in the future, I guess. But that's it for all the magical powers. But one thing we didn't mention is resisting spells. So now, if you resist spells and you roll a natural 6, you get that dice back. So if you spend 2 points of will, you get a 6 and a 5, you get that 1/6 back. You don't get the 5 back, however. That's that's big.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this rule, like, personally.
I don't like it.
Like, I get why it was in the rule. I get why it's there, because magic was too strong, and you want, like, Elendil to be able to battle on against, like, multiple ring wraiths, so even when he runs out of will, or when you expect him to run out of will. But just, like, it's the same as the Fury Fate thing. I don't like people getting something for nothing. And, like, it's going to be cool when, like, your, Rohan Captain tanks 2 ring wraiths or immobilizes by rolling 2 6s. Like, sure, that's going to be cool, but it's when you're playing Elrond and he tries to cast Wrath of Brirodin 3 times against an Orc Captain and you mate it and everything, and every time he rolls a 6 with his 1 point of will, it's just going to be frustrating, I think, in a lot of situations where you feel like you should have put in the resources to pull out your opponent's will.
I personally think that should be resistant to magic. Because
you think resistance to magic should give you your will back on a 6?
Yeah, I think that's what resistant to magic should be. So it used to be if you had no will, you get a dice. It's now you always get a free dice.
It'd be pretty rubbish if it was this.
I think the resistance to magic's pretty powerful, especially with this as well.
Currently it is. I mean, if you changed it to this, it'd be pretty rubbish because this is so situational. You got to roll a lot of natural 6s to really get use out of it. But, I don't know. If resistance to magic was on more models, I'd probably agree with you, but it's not. It's only on a few, so a few models that I think should have
the entire Lotharian army.
Yeah, but it's on the entire Hobbit army too, but no one's going to play Hobbits anymore.
Yeah, no.
Good segue into where we don't know, or do we have anything else we need to talk about in the main rulebook?
That's it for magic. A couple of special rules I've got noted down, and then the heroic tiers and allies matrix.
Oh yeah.
So we've only got 4 special rules. One of them was resistance to magic. We just covered that. You always get a 3 point of will. That's pretty big. One thing to note with the natural 6 getting will back, if it's something you've got from elsewhere, you don't get a point of will. So if it's a staff of power, if it's resistant to magic, or if it's fortify spirit, even if you roll 6s on those, you don't get it. So you will have to roll separate dice for that. Fly, I think relatively significant. Everything with fly now has a movement speed. I believe it's 3 across the board. You can now enter forests and stuff with your base movement. You can't fly out of the forest, you can't fly into one, but you can walk normally. Which, was needed.
Yeah, move 3 eagles, I know, right? My favourite thing is that, please prove me wrong, but as far as I can tell, they still get the charge bonus even when they don't fly. So you move 3 eagles, you can't do it for a forest. Yeah, it's 1.5 in a forest, but you don't get charge bonus when you charge for a forest. But if Floyd turns off their fly rule, they can charge 3 inches at someone, and I think they still get the knockdown and extra attack, which is just really weird to me. But that's pretty. It's never gonna happen, but it's just strange to me. But yeah, it's cool. I mean,
it's just obnoxious if you played against a fly army, you just hid in a forest.
Yeah, I have seen people do just so their entire army in a forest. I played against Bradley at the GT on my first tournament. I don't blame him for it because he had all 4 White Council, but he sat in a forest because I had a Fell Beast, and I was like, huh. He did come out actually towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
When we start fighting, but that's what you do. If the eagle ran into a horse on the ground, it'd still probably knock him out. Yeah, that is a good point, to be honest. Because they move 3, so a move 3 model to me get a charge.
You're just flopping, basically.
You just assume them to have more, but yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right that they deserve it. It is funny though. Just the image of the eagle running along the floor.
It's a good run. Play Total War. Nice. Got it.
I didn't play Total War.
Next one I've got is Horse Lord. If you have the Horse Lord, you
Yeah.
can use your fate on horses, which is huge.
Passive too, so you can do it even when you're immobilized.
Which is all of the. I guess actually we should talk about passive and active in a sec. All of Rohan have this. Aragorn's got this. A couple of other heroes have it.
Yeah.
It's really good. Stops horses just getting one shot. And then,
Passive and active is just a clarification on an old rule. It was FAQ'd, it was like, which special rules can I use if I'm immobilized or transfixed? And the FAQ said, well, think about them. If they seem like their passive abilities, like, you know, a king's a 6-inch banner, a Khandish king's a 6-inch banner or a 3-inch banner or whatever, then he still gets it. But if it's like Boromir with the Horn of Gondor, he has to actively blow the horn.
Yeah.
So you won't get it. But it was unclear because it wasn't like specified. You had to guess in some cases. So they've basically specified on every single rule whether it's active or passive. So it's good. It's a really good change.
It's a small little change, which is really good.
Yeah.
And then the final special rule, which I'm going to have to ask Dan to take a few quick breaths. Monstrous Charge. So if you have the Monstrous Charge special rule, you now count as cavalry when charging. You also knock down other cavalry and monsters with the lowest strength than you. So Eagles have this. Cave Drake has this. Dragons got this. Don't think Felbeasts do, but I guess Felbeasts already
They're already monstrous
mounted.
calves, so they get it.
I don't think not sure if anything else has this.
Let me check.
It's huge. That was needed.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Eagles later, but it's a really big change for some models.
Yeah. I love the fact that Dragon has it. Like, it kind of makes sense, but
Khandish Chariots have it. Just getting that one in there. They have Monstrous Charge.
we're going to be talking about Kanto's Chariots later as well.
We are indeed, because they're interesting. Yeah. I don't think they're as good as we thought they were, but yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I still think
that's
stupid.
pretty much. They are stupid. It's pretty much all of them. Like the rest, swift movements, yeah, but they're all just
Special rules,
models. Some of the ones like unyielding combat stance, which models like Amda had and Dragon Knights and in the book.
Everything. I'm pretty sure,
Everything. Some of them aren't, but
most of the special rules, even if it's only on one model, are put in. And it's the same with spells. It's like Stormcallers had Core Winds, that's not in the book. Eastling War Priests had Blade Wrath, that's not in the book. It makes it.
Lords of the West isn't for some reason.
Yeah.
Like Gilgalad Glorf.
A lot of things have that, so I don't know why it doesn't.
Yeah, I think that one should be, but whether that was like a late edition that they couldn't get in the book, I don't know. But for the most part, if there's a special rule, it's probably in the rule book, which is why I think Jamie mentioned that there's a lot of special rules and stuff now that people already had trouble with. That is true, but they're all collected in one place and they're all very clear. So I think it shouldn't be too bad. It might slow down games to begin with.
You don't need to jump between all the books and stuff, which is also good with the fact that all the profiles are in one place. You don't have to be like, is he in Morin Angmar? Okay, I don't have my Kingdoms of Men book. Have you got it? Just like, you've got your book.
Where they go, this guy's got this rule. Oh, you sure? Yeah, do you have your book with you? Oh, let me go find it. You can just bring yours now and it's got all the rules. So yeah, that's good. I think is there anything else in the rulebook?
I guess the only
The
thing
rulebook's
is
the less interesting of the two, is the only reason that I want to move on.
Heroic Tears.
Yeah, if you're a bigger
Do you
hero,
want-
you can lead
Do you
more
want
troops.
to talk about siege engines? I don't.
I'll talk about them for a minute.
I don't.
Like, I'll get it out really quick. I'll do my own talk. We'll just do Heroic Tears real quick.
Yeah.
If your heroes are bigger, they can lead more troops, and then your biggest hero has to be your leader.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And independent heroes can join other warbands now.
I probably
Nice
will
spots.
never do that because you
Would
still
you?
want the warband drops.
You've got Alfred though.
He's not
He's
independent.
independent. He is in Survivors. Army of Lake Town he can lead, Survivors he can't.
Oh, is that the newer one?
Yeah, that's the PDF. So like he can lead Lake Town Guard, but he can't lead Lake Town Militia, which makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If he's in that list, you probably want to attach him to like Bard or Gandalf to give them like.
But then, like, I don't really know who else is independent now. Because most would be minor heroes now, but Green
Yeah, Green Mirrors you can attach him to Saruman if you want, or to an enemy. But yeah, there's a few. But it's just a nice change. Like sometimes it was weird, Fatty especially, even though he's a minor hero now. Just him running around on his own was always weird. You're like, why isn't he in a warband with other dudes?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he have a knife still? The rest of them found knives. Why hasn't he? But, whatever.
And then
Siege engines.
before you go on your rant about siege engines, or it's not really a rant, just rambling. It'd be me ranting, I think.
You don't like
the Allies Matrix.
Oh yeah.
So basically, if you're
technically that's in the other book.
Alright, so if you're a historical ally, so if you are, I don't know, Lothlorien and Rohan, because Helm's Deep happened, they are historical allies. Both armies get their army bonuses, which is pretty cool. Convenient allies, so...
If it could have happened.
The dead of Dunharrow and Thranduil's Halls, apparently, are convenient allies.
This might be in... I don't know if that's... Let me check the one in the other book. I mean, you should go on.
Okay,
go on.
Halls of Thranduil and Army of Thrall, then. So they are allies of convenience, convenient allies. Both the armies lose their army bonus. Nothing else. Just lose the army bonus. And impossible allies, such as Minas Tirith and Army of Thrall. I really like this. I think this is really cool. So you lose your army bonus. Additionally, you can't be affected by the other forces' heroic actions and stand fast. So, if you've got, I don't know, dwarfs at the front and then someone else as spear sports, you can call a heroic march with the L. Oh no, I guess the march. No, the move thing's better. So if you call a heroic move, the one force moves all the models. However, the other force hasn't moved yet. So if you still go second, you can then counter whatever the opponent does, while still locking them up with the heroic move.
It's giving you some flexibility because you've got troops that aren't affected by heroic moves.
However, most of the time, it's going to be a negative.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool rule to use.
I can imagine you dropping in one more band of troops to spread out around somewhere that aren't joined with the heroic.
Yeah.
That's really usely. That is legitimately a good use.
I'm legit trying.
For the most part, it is disadvantage.
Yeah, I really want to just run that in armies. It'd be hilarious.
Just as a heads up, this Dead of Dunharrow with Halls of Thranduil.
Yeah.
Convenient allies. Oh wait, it was convenient. It wasn't historical. I gotta check again. I thought it was initially a mix-up because Erebor Reclaimed was the Halls of Thranduil.
You have it right.
Yeah, they're convenient. They're convenient with everyone though, except
Dunharrow?
Except historic. Yeah. No. Halls of Thranduil.
Oh, okay.
They're convenient with literally everyone except
a
couple factions where they're historical.
Huh.
So maybe they got halfway through that one or like, screw it, we'll finish it later. But it is rather strange that they're convenient allies with Dead of Dunharrow. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for this book. Thank God. This is the last interesting one. We can talk about profiles.
Did you want to do siege?
Oh yeah, siege engines. Siege engines got changed. Some of them got individual profile buffs. They're really a lot better now. Like you pretty much never upgrade to an engineer captain because it's less points now, but they only get one more might. It's not really worth one might for like 25 points even on a siege engine's not worth it.
Well, to clarify, all siege engines now get a 1 might, 1 will, 1 fate model.
Yeah, which is a huge buff.
Yeah, it's huge.
Like just for base, and a lot of them have gone down in points.
Mm-hmm.
It's really big. They're their own warbands now, but you can only. I found this out a bit later than the other stuff. You can only take one for every hero of fortitude, like every 12 warband hero at above. So you can't just do like 10 trebuchets and nothing else, which I wanted to do, but not allowed. Fair enough.
Bad Josh.
But they're really cheap. You can take up to 6 dudes in each warband as well. So if you've got siege engines, it's a cheap way of getting troops into your list actually, because they come with 3 warband leaders. Because the 111 veteran is a minor hero.
Oh, really?
So like, yeah. And that's how he leads the warband, and the engine doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you take a bolt thrower for Gondor. It comes with 2 dudes. One of them gets upgraded to a veteran for free. You have 5 slots in this warband. Now, true, they can't take like Gears, they can't shield wall. And I believe, I haven't found the rule, but I'm pretty sure you've got to stay near your siege engine, so you've got to pull it around with them. But it's like, you can, every hero of fortitude, you take a siege engine and you basically buff them up to the equivalent of a hero of legend. And you get a siege engine. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
That's cool.
A lot of them have changed and gotten better. They're okay. They're genuinely, a lot of them are good. Gondor especially, I'd run a few in.
One thing to note as well is the deployment. So you no longer deploy as normal, regardless of what the deployment map is. you deploy within 6 inches of your board edge. For Maelstrom, you roll off and with your opponent to choose which is your board edge.
You only roll off if you both have siege engines.
Oh, if not, you
if
just
I'm the
choose.
only one that has siege engines and you don't have any, I just pick.
But then you deploy the siege engines before rolling Maelstrom stuff, so...
Yeah, so you can bring it. But if you just had loads of siege engines, you could just spread them out along the board edge.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that good siege engines now can risk hitting their own models.
Yes.
Which means that if you bring on a warband right next to like a warband of my troops, I can still trebuchet you. Which is cool. It's interesting, yeah. They're a lot better. They might be worth taking. They might become obnoxious.
I think
certain lists, but
you're definitely going to see the Avenger Bolt Thrower.
I think the trebuchets are better than they are.
I think people are still going to be scared of the scatter and the fact that Avenger Bolt Thrower does not scatter anymore. I think some mid-tier table lists will have.
If you take an Avenger Bolt Thrower, don't take the superior construction upgrade that lets you roll 2 and pick the highest. It's not worth it.
No.
You're better off with those points just getting a few more and getting a second Bolt Thrower. Trust me, it's really not worth the upgrade. But the thing with a trebuchet is that against stuff like Iron Hills of Gondor, shield wall armies, it forces them to split up, which is a really big deal actually.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that with the big heroes, you can like trebuchet them and knock them off their mounts. It's now like trebuchets pretty much always knock models down around them, whereas before they didn't. So yeah, they're just a lot better. They might be okay at tournaments. They're really cheap too, so try them out. I think they're okay. I think they might be good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much everything for the rules manual, and then we get on to the interesting stuff.
Now on to this.
The cool stuff.
The cool stuff.
Do you have anything in particular? I've got like a list of a few models that I want to talk about. Do you have anything in particular you want to talk about?
I haven't really got a list, but I guess as we go through and you go talk about stuff, I might chime in or come up with some ideas on the go.
We could just run through the book, and I'll give like really quick reviews, really quick talks about what's changed with certain factions, and then we'll stop if we want to talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get the Fellowship. They've got a new army. They've got a few changes on models. They have an army bonus that's like if Frodo's alive, they can't be broken.
Yeah.
Really cool, really thematic. Really like the change. They're mostly the same though.
One thing
they got slightly better.
One thing I'll note with the Fellowship is, you know how in the old rules you used to do Fire and Lobelia as 1-drops?
Yeah.
You now do Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, you can.
Because they're the same points as Fi. They're not unarmed.
No, they're 10. Fatty was 5.
No, the new Fi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because new Fi is 10. So you take Merry and Pippin, they're the same points, and they're also cheaper than Lobelia. They still have no might, but they're still 1-drops and they can deal a bit. They can actually.
I think 1-drops aren't going to be as useful in this stuff, but for reasons, I don't know.
But if you do want some 1-drops.
Yeah, they're good 1-drops. The Shire, the heroes got a bit better.
Ooh, can we talk about the final count rule for Legolas and Gimli?
Oh yeah.
This is so cool.
Legolas and Gimli, if you include them both in an army, you've got to keep track of the models they kill, and whoever has less models gets a buff.
Yeah.
Not more or less, because they're trying to fight each other out. So whoever's losing fights better. It's pretty cool. It's okay actually.
Yes, Legolas gets +1 to shoot. So Legolas gets +1 to shoot if he's got less kills. Gimli gets +1 to wound. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool thematic rule.
If we talk like this for every faction, I'm going to be here for an eternity. So I'm going to glaze over them.
We can skip some of them.
Yeah. Hobbits are worse because all their warriors went up by a point. It's a really big deal.
They got woodland creature,
but their warriors went up by a point, so they're worse than they were. Yeah. And they only have short bows, the archers.
Yes.
So yeah, they're noticeably worse.
And although you now have Brandibus in the list as well to leave more stuff, if you take Brandibus, you lose your army bonus.
Yeah, you could have. If you take him alongside other named heroes, you lose your army bonus.
Yep.
And there aren't any unnamed heroes, so if you take in Brandibus, you only can have 15 hobbits, and that's your army. Rangers of the North and all heroes, you can't overlap Arathorn and Aragorn without losing your army bonus.
Mm-hmm.
If you go pure Grey Company, the army bonuses that you get, they're Rangers of the North and Dunedain, which went up a few points, but they get 1 extra attack, 1 on foot, 2 attack space.
They're also woodland creature.
Pretty good. Yeah.
They all
go woodland creature.
Still run them on horse because you want to run away from your opponent, but even when you get knocked down, you can still fight.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'd probably leave the horses for 10 points.
Oh, I didn't realise it was 10 points. Maybe not.
I wouldn't bother running the horses. Numenor, this is one that I wanted to talk about. These guys are busted.
Yeah.
Like, Elendil's so astoundingly good now. Like, we already do loads of profiles, but he is Fight 7, Strength 5, barely. Master Forged, so he's barely.
Free heroic combat.
Free heroic combats, always fortified. He's just really good. He's arguably too good. He has a lot of points though. He doesn't have horse claws, so you can shoot him off swords.
He is a hero legend though.
Yeah.
So it makes up for the expensive points.
Steel Doors, again, Strength 5, and this is because the basic warriors of Numenor have gone up to Strength 4.
Mm-hmm.
Fight 4, Strength 4 on an 8-point model is very good. It is very... Like, they're only Defense 5, but it is very good. Numenor are a really scary faction now.
Mm-hmm.
They're restricted on models, so you probably won't see many bowmen in the armies because you can't get bowmen. The spearmen are easy to convert, so...
Yeah.
Numenor could be a very scary faction. They might be too good. It's hard to say. Can we skip Gondor because everyone's been talking about them?
Yeah, well, I'll quickly say, Minas Tirith, Gandalf's got 2 attacks. Gandalf the White is now good. Their cheap heroes have been made less cheap, they're still kind of cheap. Warriors are basically the same. Well, the Warriors of Minas Tirith get Shield Wall, so they're actually viable now.
So there's like 3 profiles. I don't know how Shadowfax's Will and Fate works. Shadowfax now has 2 Will and a Fate points. I don't know how. Like, does Gandalf use that? I don't know. No,
you have to be targeted because in Azog's profile.
Shadowfax use his Will?
Huh?
I can see how Shadowfax can use his Fate, but how does he use his Will? What's his Will for?
No idea. Honestly.
So that's why I don't understand.
But because in Azog's profile it specifies, it's a special rule that allows him to use the Will and Fate.
You could see that a bit, but
oh.
I don't know why. Benefor's got a cool rule. It's the same as before, but now if Boromir's in the army, he has a rule where he's got to take courage test every turn, or the evil model controls him if he fails. The evil player controls him if he fails. If Boromir's in the army, he auto passes, but if Boromir's in the army and dies, he auto fails the next turn, which is cool. And then if he's in the army, he has to be a leader unless you have Aragorn. Boromir's Banner of Minas Tirith dropped 10 points, and it's a 6-inch range. It's really good. It's pretty much, I pretty much always hit the banner on Boromir now.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good, ways you never would before. 5 has Career Veterans are really good. 5 Garland Fountain Courts, oh god, really good.
Yeah.
Faramir's got a cool rule where he auto passes Courage if Denethor falls on the board, but if Denethor falls on the board, he auto passes Courage, but he has to charge the nearest model.
I like how you
charge if he's able to.
I like how you said, can we skip Gondor in there?
Well, yeah, it's the hero profiles, and then that's pretty much it. They're cool rules. I really like these changes. The faction's got a lot better.
Gondor's a good list now.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you want to do fiefdoms?
I think the only thing worth knowing about the fiefdoms is their army bonus. So basically, any of the buffs that the heroes give, if they got the pure army, affect everyone. So Emerald Banner affects everyone in the list.
Oh yeah, and also the Dolan Roth models get +1/5 value if they're within 3 inches of any rail.
Yeah.
5/5 Dolan Roth Knights are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Clansmen of Lamadon are cool too, because they've got broadswords, which means if they roll a 6, when they go two-handed, they don't get -1.
Yeah.
Natural 6. That's cool.
But then they only have the two-handed, so.
Blackroot Veil Arch got better too, which is deserved. The Dead of Dunharrow. I think everyone pretty much knows what these guys are.
You can now take an entire army of undead.
Yeah, you don't need
King of the Dead has a might point.
The King of the Dead went up for fight value and attack and a might point.
Yeah.
He's still probably not very good, but he's better than he was.
You
he
can
also
now
has
run
Harbinger of Evil when you take Pure of the Dead, which is really good. So they're playable now as a faction.
And they're point cheaper for the warriors, yeah.
Yeah, and the horses went to defense 6, which was kind of needed. Arnor. Do you want to talk about them? They're pretty much the same.
I'm pretty sure Arnor. Oh, you lost all the Grey Company heroes, so Arnor is just Arvedui, Malbeth, Captain.
They split up.
That's it.
Arnor and Grey Company. So yeah, it's just Arvedui, Malbeth, Captain, Warrior of Arnor, Ranger of Arnor.
By the way, it's not coming out on the stream, so it must be just Discord.
Yeah, must be.
So now we've solved that mystery at least. It's just Discord that doesn't like my mic.
Yep.
And then the army bonus for Arnor is auto pass courage checks if you're within 6 of Arvedui.
It's going to be a really cool army. If someone wants to do it, it's going to look really cool on the board. It's going to play cool. It's not that good. It's okay. It's not great. So it's a middling army. It's cool. Yeah, it's fine.
Now on to what I think is top 2 army, right here.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think this
the
is.
more I think about it, I think these guys are really good.
Yeah.
My thing is though that egos are a thing. Like egos are a big thing, and egos mess these guys up. Yeah, I mean, you can probably like if you go on the GBHL page and stuff, you'll probably be able to find loads of these guys' rules. But essentially, the way they work around Theoden, their army bonuses, they get +1 strength on a turn in which they charge for cavalry. Yep. And then the Riders and the Royal Guard, when they were near Theoden, they get +1 fight value. So you essentially have your army of fairly cheap troops, as far as cavalry robbers go, being fight 4 strength 4 on the charge.
Which
is very good. Arguably, Rohan Royal Guard, they're fight 5 strength 4 on the charge.
So good.
It's really good. Fight 4 to fight 5 is a really big deal, especially on a cavalry model. However, it does hinge around Theoden, so Theoden plays a lot like Bard. So people are going to have to get good at sniping out these heroes.
And if Green was within 6 inches of Theoden, he becomes fight value 3 with 1 attack and can't use any heroics. Or will.
So yeah, if you're expecting a lot of Rohan, which you should be, because a lot of people are bringing it, bring along Saruman and Green with Isengard. They're pretty good. Do you want to talk about Helmingers?
So, there is a yay about Helmingers, there is a nay about Helmingers. So, Helmingers upgrade is, I think we quickly checked and we couldn't find another one, but we think it's the only upgrade for warriors that affect the entire force. Things like Erkenbrand, Merry, Pippin, their upgrades only affect their own warband. Grimwald can affect their entire Rohan force with the +1 strength. So that's the yay. The nay is Grimwald himself. So, initially, I was super hyped. It's gone up by 5 points, gained a point in might, he's now 5/5. So, that's pretty sweet. He's got Mighty Blow as well, so that's the double wounds. However, he only has a 2-handed axe. So he has no one-handed weapon, he always has to 2-handed.
The real disadvantage to Grimwald is you can't have a horse. So you can't
and you still can't take a horse, that is very true.
you can't one-shot the Balrog, that's the real problem with it.
And also, it's a Rohan hero on foot. So
it's still good. But...
If you want to run Rohan, do not take Grimwald. However, certain, like my list, I'm still running Grimwald because it's a specialized list. Like, I love Helmingers and stuff, but not because they're Rohan, because, yeah, it's a bit weird. However, it does mean that I can run Aeol the Young without any penalties, because I don't care about the army bonus.
Yeah, the army bonus only applies to mounted cavalry models, so if you're playing all foot Rohan, who cares?
Yeah,
like,
I would whoever you want.
So...
But it's good because Aeol the Young only negates the Rohan army bonus, so if I do ally with like elves, I still got my
So this is it's the same as like Arathorn and Banderus before, but heroes that come from a different age. If you want to put them in your force, you can't take other named heroes without losing the army bonus.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. I still think Helmingers are good. Like I still think they're okay.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing.
Okay. Not good, but okay. So.
Yeah. I think the only other thing to note is Son of Aeol. I don't think we're ever going to see these. They're now one attack.
Unless you go for an Aeol the Young list.
Yeah. They're one attack each, while within 6 inches of Aeol the Young they get 2 attacks, but they're still 20 points. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Army-wide Horse Lord as well. For Rohan, obviously. So all the heroes have Horse Lord.
Oh, right, yeah.
Horse Lord is you can use your fate for your horse, which is pretty good. The only I think there's 2 models in the list that don't have it, and it's Grimwald and King's Huntsman, because they can't have horses.
Yeah, because they're on foot.
King's Huntsmen are good. I genuinely think they're good. King's Huntsmen. Like, I genuinely think they're underrated, but no one's ever going to play them, because I can't even be bothered playing them. But...
Erkenbrand nerf as well, we should probably mention. Erkenbrand no longer makes riders 5/4. It's now, if they're within 3 inches of Erkenbrand, they can't be in range of banner.
Erkenbrand's gimmick is his +2 courage warhorn now. He doesn't have like that, as well as free might, as well as the Westfall Red Shields. He's now just free might and the horn.
He was too good.
He was definitely too good. Yeah, he's got a niche now, but there's a lot more options for you. To take.
You now take Theoden to get the 5/4.
You might even want Hammer because he's free might.
Yeah.
And he's cheap. You know. Yeah, Rohan are a good faction. They're pretty strong.
Yeah.
Wild Men of Drodan. These guys just got. I mean, you could take a pure army off them. They're the same with Dead of Dunhara. In that you don't need a hero to lead them if you go pure. And they ignore Stalk Unseen and Elven Cloaks for their army bonus.
Yes.
They ignore the rule. Because the Elven Cloaks and Stalk Unseen got worse, that rule's worse. And then just Gamborigan went up 20 points, all the Warriors went up 2 points. These guys got nerfed really hard. Jay does not want you playing these guys. Get them off the board.
However, I'm still going to be running them because they're historical allies with Rohan. So I take an all-foot Rohan army. Don't have to take Gamborigan because I can just take warbands of 9 to 12.
The army bonus isn't past Gamborigan you can take warbands. It's just you can take warbands of all warriors. So you don't need leaders for these guys.
You don't even need to take Gamborigan to start with.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's not like you need Gamborigan and then you get warbands of warriors. It's just you can take warbands of warriors. So
Spear supports for Rohan. Let's go.
Spear supports for Rohan that are effective strength 5 against Orcs, Goblins, and Urukai because they have hatred for them. So yeah, I mean you just shoot them out because the defense free behind. But yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good in that list. It's an interesting list. Rivendell.
Rivendell.
I've been building a Rivendell force actually, but
Gilgalad, really good. Aron, really good. Glorfindel, even better. Arwen, OP.
Yeah, pretty much. So the big heroes got really big. They all got Lords of the West, which lets them reroll a dice to win and a dice to wound in a fight. That's a really good roll. It basically makes them 4 attacks in most matchups, apart from when they double because it's trapped.
Yeah. But
4 attack heroes are really good. Like the Balrog and Sauron have 4 attacks, so that should give you an idea of how good that is. But yeah, they're just really strong. They're really good at killing models. Yeah, they're just really good. Lord of the West is a really good role.
Yeah.
Heroes of Legends, Heroes of Valor. And as I say, the problem with them is that there are a lot of points. They all only have 3 might, and they probably want to use it for themselves. And they're not horse lords, so you can shoot them off the horse, but they're still good. Harwin, she's busted. Like you put her in every list you run for Rivendell, unless you want to run Gilgalad.
Even if you're running Lothlorien, put her in because she's ally, historical ally.
Yeah.
She's
the same as before. She went up a will point and she swapped out Nature's Wrath for Wrath of Bruinen. Wrath of Bruinen is just channeled Nature's Wrath. It's just strength 2 hits on everyone when you do it.
And then if you channel it, it's strength 3.
Yeah, and if they're in water, it's strength 9. So if you ever play on a board with a water feature, your opponent's not going to get near it.
Yeah. And then she's got heroic defense.
Owen's so good. She's so good. She's got resolve, channeling, and defense. So
and she leads 12 because she's fortitude. If you
you just take her. She's so good. She's the best hero in this list, I think. The twins went up points. Serdan got buffed. He now gets a 3 point will every turn and has enchanted blades. He might be worth taking because you aren't taking wizards as much. Having a model that can cast blinding light that can lead a warband is good. The only thing is Galadriel's in a list that can ally freely with this. For 50 points more, she's probably better. But if you want a cheap hero, he's not bad.
Yeah.
This is true for both lists, but all the elves got elven blades for free. So they're elven made hand and a half swords. It's a really good buff. Elven blades are really good. So yeah, elves are really good now.
Oh, and worth mentioning, Rivendell Knight list still exists. However, you have to take Elrond. If you take Elrond, your Rivendell Knights don't count towards bow limit. Otherwise, they will.
Yeah, and they don't have fleet foot, so woodland creature now only applies if you're on foot. Unless you have the fleet foot special rule. Galadriel Knights have fleet foot, Rivendell Knights don't, so Rivendell Knights can't run freely through forests. Which is fair enough, I guess. It's okay. And the other thing is the army bonus is when they stay still, they re-roll fail to hit rolls. And when they're near the leader, which basically means that scene in The Last Alliance when Elrond's like shouting, that's the quote for the special rule.
Yeah, I'm not going to
try
to
pronounce
it.
Yeah, I bothered. Too much effort. Rivendell Knights, though, they will get it too, but if you want to run them around and do it, you're not going to get the reroll. Lothlorien, Celeborn's like the other heroes, he got a lot better, he got Lord of the West. So
still not amazing.
Glafrin Captains are pretty good. He's okay. He's probably the fairest of all of the big heroes.
Yeah.
Glafrin Captains are pretty good.
Rumel now rerolls every dice rather than just a 6.
Yeah. I think Rumel's worse though.
Because he's 15 points more.
He's 15 points more. He can only force one reroll. Yeah, I don't know. I think we went up with defense though, because Galafron now have heavy armor, not basic armor, so they've all gone up with defense. Here's the thing: Stormcallers, Cold Wind is on a 3+, not a 2+, and the Galadrim one's lost Nature's Wrath.
Yeah.
They don't have Enchanted Blades, so you're probably never going to see these guys.
No.
It's just not really worth it anymore.
Enchanted Blades in Lothlorien's not worth it.
It's an okay spell, but just on a model with free will. It's like, why bother? Are you ever going to take it? Just run Sir, he's 18, he gets a free one every time. Yeah. Like, the Stormcallers really aren't very good anymore. Because there's so many better choices for cheap heroes in these lists now. Like for 10 or 15 points more, you can get much better heroes. Galadrim got heavy armor and an Elven Blade for free. Wood Elves got an Elven Blade. They got an Elven Blade and an Elven Cloak. Elven Cloaks would be good, but it's only terrain. They went up a point. They're just too expensive now to take for defense free.
It's 9 points a model if you want to have them with spear. 11 points with spear.
Are they getting the gear points efficiently? Like an Elven Cloak and an Elven Blade for 1 point increase. Yes, it's good. But are you going to run an army of these guys? Well, that's 40 more points. That's 5 less elves in your army. Yeah. So it's a big deal. So, yeah.
And then just defense free. You just shoot through and you kill all of them off.
You could maybe see these guys with throwing daggers again, but they're 2 points.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say points, but they're 2 points.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you get resistance to magic for the Lothlorien army bonus across the army. And they're mostly the same.
Yeah, it's basically...
It's still not very good.
2 changes. Their armor bonus can't be affected by any magical powers that prevent them moving. However, they'll still take things like the Strength 5 hit from a Sorcerer's Blast. They just won't get moved. Or anything like that.
Nature's Wrath and Wrath of Brunan.
Yeah. And then the other thing is Treebeard now has an option. He can take Merry and Pippin for 10 points. So they ride around them.
Just as a heads up, it does specify this in the rules. Treebeard doesn't become cavalry.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. I don't know why. They also have Bludgeon, which is a new brutal power where you basically pick up another model and smash other models with it, and they do a Strength 8 hit for every model they hit, and if you wound, you can hit another model, but if you fail, it ends.
Yeah.
But it's only if the target is slain. So does a Strength 8 to the model you're bludgeoning with, and then the model he's bludgeoning. So you pick up one of your enemies, you hit them. If the model that you're bludgeoning with dies, you still keep going because you're just smashing them with a corpse.
Yeah.
But I'm doing all the hand animations. I'm feeling like I'm feeling powerful. I'm gonna smash these guys up. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's still just too expensive and for free attack heroes.
And also very static. Move 6.
Yeah. They're not that good. They're better than they were.
The bludgeon rolls cool. The fact that you get surrounded and they can just fight them all off. Type thing. But yeah.
Yeah, they're still not that good. Oh, now we come to one of the big ones. Potentially the best army. I mean, it's just not these guys. You want to say Radagast's Alliance, I guess, because the Radagast Alliance list is the exact same as this one, except it has more guys in it. Yeah.
But, because the army bonus has changed. It's not resistant to magic anymore.
Yeah, but you can ally with different guys, so maybe you wouldn't. Heroes are kind of strong. They got Monstrous Charge, which is huge. It's such a big buff for them, and they got +1 strength on a turn in which they charge as their army bonus, so they can hurl fell beasts.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's just really good. And if you give them an axe, they can hurl horned fell. They can hurl trolls with their axe.
What strength of trolls? 7.
7, yeah. Baby.
Oh no, no you can't, because if you broke power attack, you can't special strike. Can't. I don't think.
Fair enough.
I know you couldn't with Rand.
Okay, you probably can't.
I don't think you can. But
it sounds pretty stupid. Yeah. Gwaihir got beefed up. He's now 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate, and he's a lot more points. But 3 might on Gwaihir is really good. Might in this list really good. It's the only problem with this list. It's kind of hard to get might in. But they can ally with Fellowship.
Yeah, I was going to say this.
Do you know who's in Fellowship? There's a model that gets a free mate every turn in Fellowship. It's called Aragorn. So, we were chatting about this when the rule book came out. It's like at 800 points, you just go Gwaihir, 3 Eagles, and then Aragorn and Gandalf.
Yeah.
It's like that list is disgusting.
Good
And like
luck
because
dealing
Magic's
with
so
that.
much worse. Yeah. I don't know what you're gonna do to that type of a list. Like Eagles, so they are so my three picks for the three best factions. Like Elves are always working their way in there, but we've covered two of them already. Maybe I think Eagles are going to be a top three, like pretty much undoubtedly. Numenor could be. I rate Numenor, so I'll put them in, but that's a guess. And my last one is maybe Harad.
Yeah.
Like just hoard Harad with those.
Oh,
And we haven't talked about them yet, but
I think top three. I didn't even think about Eagles, so I won't like. I think Eagles will be
Yeah.
top three now, but before
mm-hmm.
I was talking to Barney last night, and I was saying that I think top three is Gondor, Rohan, Harad. Gondor for the pure fact you get the defense 7 horde with some pretty good heroes, and you can ally with some good stuff. Rohan for the charge, and then you'll see what Harad's like.
Do you think it's worth taking the Warriors on Gondor, or would you just still go for guard?
I'd just take Warriors.
Fair enough.
I think.
I don't know. You can hold out. Hold out Gondor's pretty good.
I mean, you get Boromir.
I think
and
Harad's
Faramir and
definitely a
Aragorn.
scary list though.
Yeah.
Dwarves stayed mostly the same, to be honest. Like, there's been a few points tweaks and stuff like that, but they played pretty much the same as they used to.
My biggest issue with the dwarf list.
Yeah, you really don't like this, do you?
I really don't like this, and it's honestly it's not actually that big a thing, but in all the other lists when you got like Brandibus and stuff, and if you take heroes that are alive at different times, you lose the army bonus. However, in this list, it's if you have Balin, you cannot take any other named heroes except for Floy. So my question is, why the hell are they in the list?
Yeah, this is
Why-
the type of list that should have been their own faction.
Why is there not a faction for Balin's expedition that's got Balin in, it's got Floy in, and it's like, oh, you can also take these warriors.
It's just formatted super strangely. You also
You're just restricted. The Kingdom of Khazad-dûm is really restricted for heroes. There's no Gimli, there's no Dane, no Balin, no Floy. If you're running
it even
Khazad-dûm,
says
so-
if your army has Balin as its leader, then you may wish to change the name of the army list to the Kingdom of Moria.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it should be. It's pretty much is its own faction. But it's just in another one.
The Balin's expedition thing, you can take Ori, Oin, and you can take Gimli as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can still take them, but just Khazad-dûm's been kind of shafted.
Yeah, it's just like the way that that's phrased is like it's a different army just inside of another profile, which is kind of strange.
Yeah. Yeah. Apart from that, Dwarf Rangers. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
they're better. Barely Khazad-dûm. So Durin's got slightly better in that he can upgrade Khazad-dûm to be Burly for 2 points a model.
Yeah.
2 points may sound expensive, but Burly Khazad-dûm are very good. Effective strength 6 models are very good on basic warriors, even though they will be a lot of points.
13
That
points.
might be okay, especially when Durin can lead 18 of them.
Well, that's
that
why.
might be a good list.
It's why I read the list with
Joe.
Durin leading them and then Galadriel with
Yeah.
spears as well.
I mean, I'd be tempted to just do all Khazad-dûm, but yeah, that might be a good list. I'd be scared of Burly Khazad-dûm. You're very scared even if there's not many up there.
Well, you could even do Moses.
Sorry?
Could even
You
do
could.
Moses. I guess you
Yeah,
was
I don't know
the.
reroll ones
I
to win there.
no army bonus, so you couldn't do
Sorry?
Moses. Because
Oh,
Moses
yeah.
would lead the. But
You
yeah.
only have Garland, yeah.
But yeah, the dwarf army bonus is each reroll once to win.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's one of the better
Fainting
ones,
and piercing striking at the same time.
always good. Every match you play will be good.
Yeah.
And then we have Wanderers in the Wild. Moan and Draw stay pretty much the same.
Yes.
I can't really see any changes, and they're in Iron Hills now.
The only change for them, yeah, they're in Iron Hills, so they're the Wanderers in the Wild army section, but they are basically.
They needed to update their profiles.
Yeah.
But the Hobbit book doesn't come out yet, so they've got to be a Wanderers in the Wild because there's nowhere else for them to go. Then the only other models in Wanderers in the Wild are Tom and Goldberry, and the changes they got was they stayed pretty much exactly the same, except they got will stores.
Yeah.
So now Tom has 15 will, Goldberry has 10, and when they run out, they disappear like the Wraiths.
But
They wander off.
Tom's
And
not got
Tom
Banish.
Banish, yeah. Is the other change. So they're worse now because you
Yeah.
can't just infinitely go. So those Treebeard lists with Tom and Goldberry, you can still do them, but they're not going to be anywhere near as good.
it's still banned at all my
Which is
tournaments, but
Yeah, just for me. They're not even good anymore. They're really not even good. Barador is the next one. We're on to evil armies now.
Before we
so
go
let's
on
look
to
at
evil,
armies.
I was going to say, do you want to have a quick break?
Yeah, we can.
So,
Yeah, we've been talking
grab
for a
some
while.
water and
haven't we?
stuff.
Yeah, you want to turn off the stream and then.
I can just go on intermission
Yeah.
screen. I can jump
I'm
on.
happy with that. Give me a break. Banish foggers and stuff.
We're going to take a quick 5-minute break or something, and then we'll be back with the Forces of Evil lists.
Okay.
So just go to the toilet, grab yourself a drink, and see you guys in a bit. Alright, so we should now be back live.
That wasn't any warning. So you could turn it back on, but you didn't tell me you would.
Oh well, you told me to, so it's your own fault. But, so we've now done the main rulebook, we've done good, and now it's on to the Forces of Evil. Wait, I want to see if on the stream it's mirrored. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, it's up. The thing is, it's if I open up Discord, then it's the right way around. So, I don't know.
Discord just mirrors my camera for me.
Apparently.
Alright, so Josh just having some food, so I guess I'll take over for this. So we've got Barador. Barador, one thing to mention is Mordor's been split quite a bit. You can still take most of the troops and most of the armies, but the hero-wise, they've been split into Barador and Mordor. So you can't take you can't take Camor the Eastling with Sauron, because the only named one at that time was the Witch King. You can take basic race with them, but can't do it other way around. Also can't take Mordor, Uruk-hai, or Moran and Orcs with Sauron. Yeah, so Barador, the army bonus is revolving around Sauron. So his warband size is 24. Also, if the force contains just Barador models, then you can never be considered broken as long as Sauron's got 3 wounds. If he's got 2 or fewer wounds, they could be broken normally. If Sauron is slain, you're instantly broken. So if somehow first turn Sauron is dead, your entire army is just broke on first turn. Kind of makes sense.
Did you say that his warband size was increased to 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sauron himself.
This is for the Last Alliance battles. Now, I don't know about you, but I actually really rate this list.
I've honestly not read Sauron.
Oh, so he went up an attack. He dropped, because he comes with the ring now, he dropped 50 points.
Yeah.
But he went up an attack. He has to be a leader, and he has a new brutal power attack, which isn't very good. It sets models on fire, but he replaces his 4 attacks with 1 that sets people on fire, which isn't very good. He has Instill Fear, but just going to 4 attacks rather than 3 is a really big deal, and then bleeding 24 is a really big deal, and not being able to spray a force while he's there, as long as he's healthy, is a really big deal. So, I mean, Ben was talking about it. You can just go at 800, Sauron, 2 orc captains, and 48 orcs, which is not a bad 800 list. You probably outnumber, equal or outnumber most lists, and you have Sauron in it. And he's a good caster. He's arguably the best caster in the game.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Transfix on a 2, Compare on a 3, and Still Fear on a 3. Chill Soul and Self-Will on a 4.
Yeah, he's really good.
And he gets a 3-point at will.
It's not a bad list. Before it was a really bad list, but now it's okay. It's definitely playable. But Ringwraiths are in this list, yeah. It's just the Last Alliance one. Pretty basic list.
So the unnamed Wraiths are the exact same, I believe. Except Sapwell's now a 5+. But it's worse across the board.
Sapwell's also dropped to only D3.
Oh yeah, we didn't actually mention that.
D3+1, yeah, and the channel version is D6, not all your will. So you can't just channel Sapwell the Undying and poof, he's gone.
Yeah. The Witch King has got some, I guess, he himself hasn't really got a buff, it's more the crown, isn't it? All the spells are the same. So the Crown of Morgul, it's been reduced by 5 points. Still gives you 3 attacks. However, you can also reroll 1 dice when casting or resisting. So makes him slightly better at casting. Yeah,
That's good. He's okay. Those profiles were fine.
Yeah.
The basic Wraith profiles they were fine. Like, and I'm glad they didn't change that much.
Yeah. They're fine, just being the
only thing that I will say, this is more of a
casters.
broader rule. I wish that Harbinger of Evil had dropped to 6 inches and Ancient Evil had dropped to 12. Because then there's a difference between the two. Like, as it is, Harbinger of Evil, 12 inches is pretty much the entire board on a radius. Like, it was diameter, it's 6, but on a radius, it's like...
Yeah.
You're hitting all the models you need to anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference whether you're 12 or 18, it's all the same. But, I mean, yeah, they're good. There's not a lot to say. Oh, the Witch King does have one thing. He's got a lot more heroic actions available to him.
I guess, yeah.
So the others only have March and Channel for the other Ring Wraiths, which means they can't strike, which is actually a pretty big deal. Whereas the Witch King can call Resolve, a Channel, a Strike, a Strength, and a Challenge. And he can lead 15, whereas the others can only lead 12.
Yeah.
And he stayed the same points.
Yeah.
So you'd always take the Witch King, like, pretty much over a basic Ring Wraith.
I guess you do that anyway, though, wouldn't you?
You used to anyway, yeah. But,
just for Staff is Broken for free.
Yeah. It's just strange to me that he's not like 5 points more or something than he was. All that stuff, but I guess it's fine.
Shelob.
Same.
She's got a Brutal Power attack, which you won't use.
Yeah.
Basically, instead of attacking normally, you do a Strength 7 hit. If they're wounded and don't prevent any fate, they're paralysed.
You'd use it if you didn't charge, because she's only got 1 attack, right?
That's fair, yeah.
Because it's just a wound that also paralyses. So if she doesn't charge, she essentially paralyses an opponent that doesn't fade the save. And she's an independent, but she can't join up warbands.
Captain Shaman's the same. Taskmaster. Taskmaster's 4+ only affect Move, March, and Shoot.
Which it should
Thank
do.
God.
And they also dropped to 1 might, but they did drop by 10 points.
Yeah, but yeah, that's how it should be.
I mean, the Taskmaster, the idea was that he whips the troops when your hero calls a move and makes them get on with it. In practice, what he always did was he'd whip the Undying on a Fell Beast to let him call 4 heroic combats, which was less interesting. Or when Sauron tried to call a heroic channel, he'd go, get on with it. It's just like, well, this is interesting. But, yeah, so it's a good change. They were too good before. They do what they're supposed to now.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you'd take them now. The thing is, it's like for the same points or for cheaper, you can get for 10 points cheaper you can get a captain. There was 1 more might.
But then I guess it's still heroic move. Heroic move's still probably the most important.
Yeah, if you've got a load of warbands, if you're hoarding out, you drop a Taskmaster in.
Yeah.
But like if you're only taking 1 or 2 of these types of heroes, you probably should get 2 captains.
Orc Drummers dropped in 10 points.
Yeah.
Yep. Black Numenor Marsh was the same. Lord of Troll.
I think everything else is the same except for Warg Riders, which dropped a point.
Warg Riders now a point cheaper, which is big. Morbid Knights.
Their throwing spears dropped the points as well, because they had like for elves it's still on 2 points, but because they hit on 5s, it's now 1 point for those guys.
I honestly may just take all the Warg Riders, or like half the Warg Riders with throwing spears, and shield, because it's 13 points for them, 12 points for just shields. Still pretty good. Morbid Knights were dropped by 2 points.
That's pretty good.
I still don't know. Are they worth it now?
No, probably not.
No.
But I mean, you can play them.
They're better. If you ran them already,
cool.
then you've got buffed.
They're cool.
Oh, Orc Tracker Warg's gone up by a point.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
You still probably take a couple. And then
I would cover.
That's really it. Onto your home turf now, in Angmar.
So they have the same that they had at Throne of Skulls, which is friendly Angmar Orc models within 3 inches of a friendly spirit hero gain the terror, which is good. Yeah, it's cool. It's useful. A lot of armies have good courage though. Anyway, so it's probably a bit matter not much. Then we get on to, in my opinion, either the best or the second best named Wraith, which is the Tainted. which you asked me a year ago, never thought I'd say that. Why do I think he's better? Well, he was 112-1 on Might Will Fate, now he's 214-2, which is really good.
That's also, yeah,
that's a huge buff. Like, going from 1 Might 2 and 1 Fate to 2 is really big for his survivability, and his aggression when he's not pressured with the 2 Might. And jumping up the world, like 14 to 16 is not that big a deal, but 12 to 14, anyone who's played like the Dark Marshal and the Shadow Lord and stuff knows how big of a difference that is.
Yeah.
So those they're really small stats increases, but they're really big. And then the biggest thing about him is his rule. I think it's exactly the same. Yeah, so his rule before was it's the same now. Was friendly, sorry, not friendly. All warrior models within 6 inches of him can't benefit from standing fast or take part in heroic actions. Now, the big problem with that was that it applied to your own dudes.
Yeah.
And the thing with orcs is that they tend to have lower courage than other models. So it tended, especially in the standfast, it tended to hit you harder. And the heroic moves, while they were good because it's Angmar and they didn't typically bring very much might, sometimes it would really mess you up. So he was bad as like a base ring wraith, and then his special rule often hurt you more than it helped. But now, and this is a broad change across the board for the named wraiths, is that you activate their abilities. So you spend a point of will on the turn, and you activate it. Now, that's essentially giving you the choice. Unlike whereas pretty much for the rest of them, it's worse, because they used to get it passively, and now they don't. And you always want it, if you could. This guy, you don't always want it. So being able to choose, even though you have to spend a will, being able to choose when you do it is really good. Like, you basically just hard counters heroic moves. Because if you, assuming you're not playing all hero, not for heroes, but for warriors, because if you win priority, you just say, well, I'm going to turn on this rule, you can't heroic move your warriors. Because I can't either, but I have priority. So I don't care that I can't, because I'm moving first anyway. Whereas when you lose it, you go, well, I won't spend the will points, and I'll call a heroic move. So he's so much better now. He's really good. Like, the Tainted is really good.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. So that's the main reason. Is Seeping Decays, like the 6 to wound.
I was going to say,
base contact.
Slightly different because it doesn't affect spirits.
Yeah, non-spirits. I mean,
it's yeah. That's more of like a tiny.
He's still going to kill his spear supports, and he's still going to kill the orc that he's fighting, the warrior that he's fighting when he wants to call a hero combat. That's all that rule ever does. Is it just kills the models you don't want it to kill. But yeah, he's really good now. The Drummer Lake's the next one.
He's awful now.
He's rubbish. He's really bad. You never take it.
One thing to note is they've removed Horned Fellbeast.
Have they? Oh, okay.
Don't think anyone ever ran them.
No one played them anyway, so who cares?
But yeah, so the Dwemer Lake is across the board the exact same. However, there's 2 nerfs to him. One is he comes with a 2-handed weapon, so he can't one-handed. So he's always at -1 to win the fight, and he has no might. So you never won this guy in combat, ever.
That's terrible.
His special rule, which is to be if you're within 12 inches, if you use Might Will or Fate on a 4+, you use 2 instead. It's now 6 inches, and you have to use a point of will before you roll the dice. So you could, if you're within 6 inches, use a point of will. You could fail the roll, so you just lost the point of will. That's
I mean, if it was only 6, it was tolerable, right? Because 12 was too big, but 6 you could tolerate. But it's got the same problem as something like Heroic Resolve, where you're spending will points for a chance.
Yeah.
So like you're investing a will point at the chance of pulling a will point from your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you do it twice, you're essentially going to spend 2 will to get 1 of theirs.
Yeah.
Which and that's if it works out for you twice. It's so situational. It might not even work. He's a bad ring wraith overall because he has 0 might. So that was his offset rule. He's just not good.
No.
Just don't take him. It's really not very good.
And we've got Gullivar, who is
pretty much the same,
but
he can rend and get his wounds back.
Nah, he's got heroic defense.
It's okay, I guess.
Which is not actually that bad. Obviously, it costs a might point, but defense 5. You want me on 6s? Can't might it.
Yeah, his big weakness was
jump him into a hero. Fight 7, strength 8 into a big hero. They have to strike, but then they're winning you on 6s. If not, you're probably killing them because he's monster charge as well. So that's 5 attacks on the charge.
He's still not very good there.
Oh, he's still not great, but he's definitely better.
Yeah, he's buffed. Medjay got a special. He's the same, except now if he kills an enemy hero model, you hear that ice cream truck?
Yeah.
Now if Vedder kills an enemy hero monster model in combat, all friendly Angmar Orc models and Troll models within 6 inches of him kept being in the range of banner. It's cool. It's probably
a life buff.
It'll feel good when it does.
Yeah.
It was hard to make the Drummer Lake to make Gullivar worse. Yeah, it was. I don't know what they could have done to make him worse, other than just flat stat drops.
No.
Oh,
Shade? We have slightly different opinions on this.
Yeah, we disagree on this. So basically, the way it's exactly the same profile, except instead of free will, it has 8, but now you have to activate the ability.
Yeah.
So you spend it the same way that the ringers do. So you spend a will point and it works for that turn. My opinion is that he has 8 will. So that's effectively 8 turns of combat that you're going to get him in most games. If you can't win the game off 8 turns of combat of a shade, I don't know what's going on. Like, you've probably lost the game regardless of what you took. 8 turns of combat with a shade is plenty of time to win the game. I'm sure he's only an Angmar, but yeah, I still think he's too good. I am of the opinion that he is still too good.
So I agree. However, if you cast magic on him, if you use sentinels, if you use specters, he has to use the will to stay with his army. So that's reducing the amount of times you can use it. He's still too good, but I don't think he is as good. I think he's definitely worse because you can cast magic and stuff on him.
Even if you count the will in, so he had 3 before, right? That he can't use. So let's say you take those 3 off. So let's say you allow up to 3 will because he could use up to 3 before without penalty, basically.
Yeah.
So let's say you take those 3 off that he's using before. That's still 5 turns, which is still plenty of time, really, for me. So, and arguably, having the 8 wills, having the option to always up it. So let's say you get really unlucky and he deploys on the other side of the board and he spends the game walking over, you break first, and then you roll like a 4 with him for his courage.
Yeah.
In the old rules, he'd just run. There's nothing you could do. Whereas now you can spend 4 will and you still have potentially 4 turns of combat on him. So I don't think he's better, but he's situationally better than he was.
I guess. Yeah.
I still think he's too strong. I still think he's too obnoxious. The only thing that's going to gate him is the fact that people want to play the army bonuses. So you're not going to see him dropped in like Reaver and Watcher lists, which have been nerfed anyway. But yeah, I still think he's too good.
Bar White's the exact same?
Yeah, I think so.
2 wounds? Do they always have 2?
Oh no, they had 1 before. That's pretty big.
So they've been buffed.
Yeah.
All captains are the same. As we said before, Angmar Rock Shamans have Wither and Instill Fear now, so no Transfix or Fury. Wild War Chieftains have got buffed.
They have indeed. Just as a heads up, guys, if you're in the chat and you want to like talk about anything or you want us to talk about anything, feel free to just drop it in the chat box on the side, or message us on Facebook if you have us on Facebook. We're good to talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Wild War Chieftains. They went up an attack, I believe, and a might. But they dropped a 1 point, right? Oh no, they were 2 attacks, 3 wounds.
Okay, 2 attacks, 3 wounds.
But an attack and a might are 2 very big stat profiles on a model like this.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, they're really good, and they have heroic strength too. So yeah, they're not really good, but they're pretty good. They're better than they were. They're cool models. And Morgs are the same.
Wargs are the same as previous. Cave Trolls now have Burley.
So they dropped 5 points, the Cave Trolls.
Yeah. But
they take a hand and a half hammer, 2-handed hammer basically for 5. So they're essentially 80 points. You always take that hand and a half hammer because they are Burley, so they get to use it for free.
Yeah.
So they're essentially exactly. So yeah, as Geff said, they're pretty much exactly the same, except they're not Burley, which is very good.
Pretty sweet.
Again, effective strength 8 because a +1 to wound is the equivalent of having +2 strength. So if you ever see a model that has a Burley Master Forge, they're essentially 2 strength higher than they are in the profile. And in certain situations, not always. It's not always quite that good because you have the very upper echelons where it becomes 2 dice instead of 1. But for models like most models that have +2 strength, they're never hitting those numbers anyway. No. You're never winning a model on 6s by 4s with a 2-handed weapon Cave Troll. So yeah, strength 8 Cave Trolls are really good. Yeah, strength 7 Elendil is really good. Stuff like that. So yeah.
Spectre's the exact same, except you need line of sight.
Yeah, you need line of sight now,
which is
probably more intuitive. Makes sense. Yeah.
Wild Dogs are a point cheaper.
Yeah, you still probably won't see them. You might see a few dropped into lists.
Yeah.
I think they were underrated in the old rules. There's a few dropped in,
So now we're on to the main Mordor force. So this is Third Age, War of the Ring era.
We're not going to read out all the profiles because there's about 100.
We're not going to, yeah. So their army bonuses: if you have more models on the board than your opponent, friendly Mordor warriors get +1 courage and reroll wounds over 1 when making strikes.
Yeah, which is you're encouraging you to play towards the horde.
I think
that everyone knows.
If this had been in the old edition, it'd been bigger than it is now, because I think that more like armies like elves and stuff are going to be hoarded out compared to last edition. It's still really good.
You think there's going to be? I don't know. I don't think elves are going to be. So I think the best elf list will probably hoard out. I think hoarding out elves is smarter than dropping in like loads of the big heroes.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of players are going to be especially in the next few months, going to want to be playing with those big heroes. You really want to try them out.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you're going to have a lot of lists at 800 that are running 30 or 40 models.
Yeah.
When you're playing orcs, it's very easy to get more models than that. And I mean, it's only reroll once to read, so it's not like that Burley, which was I think one of the Furnace Skulls bonuses last year, which was disgusting. Which I think was trapped. Well, if you outnumbered your opponent,
the Burder thing, you got +1 to wound if you outnumbered them in combat. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
That was changed.
Yeah, that was pretty disgusting.
Devon came over and was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna win like everything now."
Yeah.
So onto the Wraiths. Yeah, so this is another one of the top Wraiths right now, Kamul.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much because he stayed the same.
Yeah.
Like he already had to pay a will point to activate his fight strength attacks thing. Yeah, that was his rule. So he stayed the same. His casting values are the same.
Mm-hmm.
His stats are the same. He's just the same.
He's technically got better at casting for the pure fact that he's got the same cast value on Sap Will and Instill Fear as all the other Wraiths.
Yeah, comparatively, yes, but his spells have gotten worse because everyone's spells have gotten worse.
Yeah.
But you didn't use this guy for the spells because he didn't have very much will use bad at casting. So he's gotten better by comparison, essentially, to the rest of the Wraiths.
So I'd say he's one of the top 4.
He was probably the fairest Ring Wraith profile. Everyone liked him more because he was a cool Ring Wraith profile.
Next up is Dark Marshal, which is the final of the 4 that I think are actually good.
Yeah. He's okay. And again, he's the same, except he has to spend a will point to activate his ability.
Has to spend a will point.
Point. All the Ring Wraiths got Instill Fear as well. Oh. But yeah, so he has to spend a will point to activate his ability.
Yeah. But he gets
2 will.
Yeah, he's got 2 will, and his Instill Fear is on a 4+, whereas all the other Wraiths are 5+.
Okay. But yeah, the biggest thing is that Black Dart. Oh, so we'll come on to that in a sec. The 2 will offsets a lot of the having to spend will for the banner. It doesn't offset all of it, but just because casting's worse, you're not going to be casting every turn like you were last time. So you see, yeah, he's fine. He's pretty good. Like I think he was underrated last edition, and a fight 6 Ring Wraith is always good.
I think I've just noticed what you were about to say.
Yeah, so this is I didn't realise this. I don't know if he's the only one. So once the Shadow Lord, who again is the same, except he has to spend a will. Oh really? The Shadow Lord's the same, except he has to spend a will point for his 6-inch blinding light bubble, basically.
Yeah.
But his Black Dart is range 6 inches, which we didn't realise the first time we were trying.
Same as the Undying.
And the Undying is 2, which come around. So yeah, the Shadow Lord's still fine. It's the same show up in list. You see him show up less often because Ring Wraiths in general show up less often, and Magic in general show up less often, but he's still good. And going off, I think shooting is going to be a really big thing in this next edition. Shooting and all hero are 2 things that I think are going to be big. So he might show up just as a counter to that. The Undying got a lot worse. He's dropped 2 will points. He now has to spend the will to activate his ability that regains will. So he's almost never going to use it unless you've got like multiple other casters around him that you're never going to cast. So it's probably. I mean, I used to give him quite a lot, especially playing Ed. Because of how good he was at overlapping them, he always got the value out of it. Yeah. So offering the Undying, you were looking at like a 26 to 30 will Undying essentially. So he's probably dropped by, in lists like that, effectively about 8 to 10 will, which is a really big deal. But in other lists, maybe only 3 or 4. Your Shaman to cast Fury and give him 1 back, and that was about it. But yeah, as you pointed out, his Black Dart's only a 6-inch range.
Yeah. It's only those 2, I've just checked the others.
Oh really?
And they're all 12.
But besides that, he's the same. The other thing that's a big deal is that the Witch King's a higher hero than the Undying, than the rest of the race, as he should be. Which means that you can't just drop in the Undying and make him your leader anymore, unless when you're including the Witch King in your list.
No, it's the same.
Wasn't he?
They're all
Valor?
Valor. Yeah.
Oh, are they? Oh, really?
Well, unnamed Wraiths, Fortitude.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I see. That's good. So you can still do that then?
Yeah.
I guess he's still got use though. You could take him. He's not as good as he was. He's okay.
Nah, he's not a mid-tier Wraith.
Sapphire on a 5 is a big deal for a lot of these Wraiths too.
Yeah.
The ranks of Lumbee. This is
the second worst?
Yeah, he's not as bad as the Drummer.
Yeah.
But he's not very good.
Basically,
so his rolls have stayed pretty much the same. Like his activated rolls, or his Armor of the Sunderland is combat mimicry, except he has to spend a will point to use his combat mimicry. But he's dropped a might point and 2 will points, which is really big deal for him. Like dropping a might point, I mean, he shouldn't have one because that's the Witch King's one of the Witch King's things. That he has 3 might, the rest have 2. But dropping to 2/12/2 is very bad.
Yeah.
Especially when your casting values are worse than everyone else's.
Casting values are worse, and also with combat mimicry, you have to spend a will point to use it, and then if you fail to win the combat, that's another will point. So you've just lost 1/6 of your will.
Yeah. He's not very good. You probably won't take him anymore.
No.
Like he's actually using. He feels like more of a character because he's defined by his combat mimicry. But he's more of a character that's going to get locked away in the cupboard because no one's going to use it. So, I mean, he was too good in the old edition, so that's fair enough. And this is either the best or the second best Wraith, I think. Between him and the Tainted is the Betrayer.
I wouldn't say he is one of the top Wraiths. I would say he is broken in Harad, but not in other lists.
No, because he's played in Harad.
He's only run this guy in Harad. Don't run him in any other list.
Yeah, he's not worth it anywhere else. But he's so good in Harad that he potentially tops the Ring Wraith list just because of that list. And again, he's exactly the same as he was with all the updated Ring Wraith changes to worse spells. It's still fair.
And the cost of will point.
Yeah. So he activates his Master. He still has Bane of Kings. He activates his Master of Poisons. It's passive. Sorry, I just thought I noticed. But although he activates it, it used to be that you reroll 1s or 2s. Now it's you reroll all fail to wounds with poison weapons. That's really big.
All poison weapons. That is
all poison weapons.
Combat weapons and shooting.
We'll come on to Harad later, but there are army bonuses that all the weapons on their warriors and raiders get poisoned, not just the bows.
Yeah.
So it's really good, but we'll talk about bows as the first thing and why we think Harad's. I mean, do you want to talk? Do you want to come back to this guy when we talk about Harad?
When we talk about Harad,
we'll move over this for now, but yeah, we'll come back to it later. So we've got Gothmog.
So it's he's lost 2 fate. He's 5 points cheaper, I believe, fully maxed.
Yeah, he is.
And he's lost 2 points of fate. He's got March Strike Defense, but his big thing is all warrior orcs within 3 inches of him gain hatred to men. So that means they get +1 to wound against all men.
Just double check. You did say all Mordor orcs, right? It sounded like Moria.
Mordor. But then
which is pretty good. 3 inches. Orcs within 3 inches then get +1 to wound against men, which is situationally really good.
Especially if you've got some characters and stuff like Shagrat.
Yeah. They just your guys around Gothmog will just go through.
Never mind Shagrat's in okay. But yeah, but still.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine Blackguard with that rule? Piercing, striking around orcs though.
But then his other special rule is once per game at the start of any 5 phase, he can declare using the ability for the remainder of the turn, all friendly orc models within 12 inches reroll to wound when making strikes. So that's the guys at the front, that's the guys with spear support, and that's Warg Riders. That's awesome.
And again, it's the same as what we talked about the Betrayer. Rerolling all failed to wounds is a lot of value.
Yeah.
It's really good. This is a really good ability. It's a one-time use, but it's about 100 times better than Young Thorin's 3 inch +1 strength. Like it's a really good. The other thing that we talked about the other day is that his Master of Battle, he has the Master of Battle special rule still. It used to be on a 4+, he copies the ability. Now he just has Master of Battle, so he will automatically copy the heroic action. And he can copy ones that he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
What if someone calls a heroic challenge against you and you counter with your own heroic challenge? I guess you just fight, because it's the same thing.
You'd roll off.
I guess.
Yeah,
I guess if you're both calling a heroic challenge, then you may as well both be saying yes, and once you're engaged in it, it's the same thing, regardless of who called it.
I guess, yeah.
So yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just like, what's going to happen? Yeah, he's good. It's probably worth dropping him into lists now.
Mm-hmm.
You might take Gothmog over. Well, you would take Gothmog over some of the named Wraiths.
Yeah.
And you could. There's justification for taking him over all of them.
Yeah.
Which is not what the case last time.
Which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Gothmog will show up. You gonna run him in your Log Rider army? Yeah, he's pretty good in lists like that. Yeah, just he's good in all chords. So big orc armies is your big leader. He can lead 15 models. It's really good.
Yeah.
Talking about dudes that can lead 15 models, the Mouth of Sauron.
Yeah. He's gone up.
He's okay.
He's gone up a bit in points. He's now got heavy armor, thankfully.
Yeah, because when we were at Ardacon, we were like, look, they wanted at the quiz at Ardacon, and they flashed up profiles, and you had to guess which ones it was off those profiles. We're normally pretty good at that. So we have a lot of people that know a lot of the profiles off by heart. But the Mouth of Sauron showed up, and it took us a while. Like, is it Malbec? He's got 4 worlds, so it must be someone like that. And I was like, is it the Mouth of Sauron? Like, it makes sense for it to be the Mouth of Sauron, but he was only fight 4, and he was defense 5.
Yeah.
We did put the Mouth of Sauron.
That was the biggest thing. The defense 5 threw me off.
The fight 4 was kind of weird, but you could see it. But he had heavy armor. And normally heroes have 1 more defense than warriors. That's the general rule. But he just didn't. He just had warrior stats. That's how bad he was. He was a warrior pretending to be a hero. But yeah, he's got up a fight value. He's got up a defense.
Got a might point.
Yeah, got a might point, which is a big deal.
Got in still fair.
Gains in still fair. And probably one of the bigger things is he can lead 15 models.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say points?
Yeah.
For 70 points.
And to be fair, we've already been saying points for stuff.
We've been saying points for Wargame, but I don't think we've been saying specific profile points.
Sit down.
I mean, they're not going to watch. They're not going to watch this far through. So. Yeah, he's really good. He's a really cheap wave. The only Denethor's the same because he's so cheap and you can lead 15, but
yeah.
He is really cheap for what he is. He's good. He's playable. Definitely decent now. Shagrat.
Shagrat's a good bind profile.
No old Shagrat. The Free Mate Captain Shagrat's gone.
Yeah.
It's just the young Shagrat.
Yeah.
He's pretty much the same, right?
Yeah, he's got strike, challenge, and strength.
Yeah. And he's got Blood and Glory now.
Oh yeah, so he gets might point if he kills hero. Or monster.
So yeah, there used to be just a rule for like a few models like Amdur and Dragon Knights and stuff. But if you kill a hero or monster, it's Blood and Glory. If you kill a hero or monster in combat, you get a might point back. A number of heroes have that. Amdur does. I think Glorfindel. There's Gilgalad. One of the Last Alliance heroes does. One of the High Elf Numenor heroes does. Can't remember it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it shows up. It's pretty good. He's decent. You've got to pay for the shield of Kirithungol and heavy armor, which you always would.
Well, it's just 5 points more than old one, so.
Yeah, I guess.
It's got Blood and Glory for that.
Was he always free?
Yeah.
Okay. No. So he's still decent. He's effective even when he's not on a horse, which is always good because he knocks models down regardless. Gorbag. He's got up 10.
Yes.
Got up 10 and he's gained Orcish Brawl special rule. If he is outnumbered during a fight, then he gains a bonus of +1 to both his fight value and attack values. Models that are supporting do not count as in the fight for working out if the model is outnumbered. It's a very good rule.
Yeah.
You charge him into 2 of the front rank with a spear. His support doesn't count. Theirs don't either, but it's your 1 on their turn. So you get the rule. He goes to fight 5, strength 4, 3 attacks with a spear, probably with a banner. So you're only 5 dice on fight 5, and if you win, it's 5 to win probably against most armies.
Wait, why strength 5?
Strength 4, sorry, did I say strength 4?
Yeah.
So, fight 4, 3 attacks. So it's strength 4, most armies are going to be winning off 5s. So it's good. Grishnax got up 5 points.
Got backstabbers.
Gained backstabbers, that's it.
Yeah.
Gorbag's better.
Kardash is the exact same.
Yeah.
No modification to Kardash.
Oh yeah, the other thing about Fury is that it specifies more things now. So it's not like Fury affects all orcs. If you're an orc, it's Fury, and then in brackets for Kardash it says Mordor orc. So you require both of those keywords to benefit from it.
Yeah.
Every model in the game now has keywords like Ragnarok Captain has Orc, Mordor, Infantry, Hero, and that's how you define them. So Mordor orc, only Mordor orcs. So if you, you can't drop a shaman into like a Hunter Orc army anymore because they won't be Mordor. Fight 4, 3 attacks. So it's 3 attacks. 3 attacks. So you get the rule. He goes to fight 5, strength 4, 3 attacks with a spear. His support doesn't count. Theirs don't either, but it's your 1 on their turn. So No, captains are the same.
All the captains are the same. There's a Mordor Orakai captain, which is pretty cool.
Okay. I thought there was that before, wasn't there? I think there was. I think it's just because it's just a normal model.
Oh no, there's a Scout captain. That's probably what I'm thinking of, the new one.
Yeah.
Great Beast.
Grey Beast. The Grey Beast is interesting. He's got up 25 points. You hate this model?
You're obsessed with it. So.
I love the Grey. They look so stupid. They're such dumb models. I love them.
Yeah.
I love seeing them. They're always funny. Please play them if you can, because I just love seeing them.
The biggest thing is they're not just 2.6 hits, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to play them because they're a lot of money and I'm doing Candice Chariots, but they're really cool. So they're now heroes, not warriors. They can't lead models.
No, can't lead warbands, but they're a hero of fortitude.
But they're a hero of fortitude, so they've got up some points, but they now have a commander on the top, so they're a 2-1-1 model.
Yeah.
You got to think about hero of fortitude, you can put siege engines in for them, but...
heroic move, march. Oh, you can't march. He hasn't got any.
Oh really?
He hasn't got any heroics.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. That makes him a lot worse. Because what you can do is you can, with trample moves, you can heroic march and still trample because it's not a charge. Yeah, which is really good for some armies. Kind of chariots. But yeah, he's got up like 25 points. He's gone essentially a commander with 2 mind, 1 will, 1 fate. He does 2 strength 6 hits instead of 1, which I believe was what he did before, which is really good. It's only 1 extra from 6, but you will see it. It means that you're not 50-50ing the first model. It's like 75% chance that you're going to kill the first model. Against defense 6 and lower. So it's a lot better than it was. Is it good? No. It's still not very good. It's gone up to fight 4, which is good. It used to only be fight 3. It's 5 wounds, so it's a pain to kill, but it's a lot of points, and it's probably not going to kill stuff. Will it still go through things like Wood Elves? Yes. But Gondor, especially with the defense 7, anything in defense 7 it's going to struggle with, and defense 6 is like a coin toss, really, on how effective it's going to be. It's probably not in your... The longer it goes, the less in your favour it is, so... Yeah, it's okay. It's better than it was, it's still not good.
Yeah. But then on to the Warriors. The only one which has changed the Mongol Stalker, which is just 5 points cheaper.
Yeah, it's still not not worth it.
No, still probably not worth it.
It's
but
almost worth it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can just get a Hunter Orc for 2 points cheaper, right? Mm-hmm. It's exactly the same except it doesn't have an Elven Cloak. Yeah. And it's 1 less courage. But yeah, if you want to slot them in, they're not bad now. They have a place. It sucks that their Elven Cloaks don't work off Warriors anymore. It's only terrain. Yeah. So they will just get shot. But yeah, they're okay. Everything's the same. Worth mentioning that because Gondor are going to defense 7 on the basic Warriors, Blackguard are by extension better.
And Moran's worse.
Yeah, I know you play Blackguard. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
That's all we're going to say about Moran's. Did you say something about Moran's?
They've got slightly worse.
Yeah, for the same reason that Blackguard is slightly better. Yeah. You have to split up Shield Walls if you want Moran's to work. Which
so
Instill Fear ring rates are pretty good at.
Dark Marshal.
Yeah, Dark Marshal's pretty good at it. Moria. I play Moria.
Yeah.
Their army bonus is the same as it was at first school, so when your opponent's trapped, friendly Moria Goblin models involved in that fight get +1 fight value. This is very good for reasons that I'll talk about later, about what I think the best Moria looks build is. Yeah. The Balrog's dropped by 50 points. He's a hero of legend, he's dropped by 50 points. His whip now pulls models in if he doesn't kill them. He has Goblin Mastery again, which he had way back in the day, which is friendly Moria Goblin models from 12 inches, also pass courage. He sets models ablaze sometimes when he hits them. And the big one is that he can call a free hero combat every turn, which is a really big deal for him. That was his big problem, was that you just pin him with dudes and slow him down.
He also can't get insta-killed.
Oh yeah, by dragons, by breathing fire. Anything that's fire doesn't hurt him, which makes sense. Is he better? Yes, he's much, much better. Is he good? Probably not. He's still just too many points. Like, you can play him, you'll have fun with him. He's cool now. He's very scary for some of the big heroes, because he does just kill big heroes.
Yeah. But, especially with magic nerfs.
Yeah. I mean, he might be okay if the meta, like, everyone's just playing eagles and heroes. Hello Eagle just tears its wings off. But yeah, he's not that great, especially against your sort of average troops. He's just too slow for his points, but against big stuff, he gets 3 of them. So he could be very good, but right now I don't rate him.
That's fair.
The Bears is the same.
More points.
Oh yeah, he's 10 points more.
Yeah.
What the?
Apart from that, it's the same.
Yeah, exactly. Groblog's changed. He doesn't give the 5-up Fury anymore. Now, you roll a dice at the start of each fight phase, and on a 4+, all friendly Moria Goblin models within 3 inches of Groblog gain +1 fight until the end phase of the turn. It doesn't sound very good, and especially because I've basically been saying that if you aren't consistently getting value, it's really risky. But there is... I actually think he's dropped 5 points too. This might be okay. Yeah. I'll talk about it a bit later when I come to what I'm talking about, but there's the potential that you can do little things where this is actually really good. Drizag's the same, I think.
One thing to mention with Durbers, he's got Strike. You can heroic strike.
Oh yeah, it's like the only Goblin hero that has heroic strike. But that's not as big a deal because you have Bat Swarms. But
yes.
Which, again, I'm going to come to later.
Yeah, the Beast Collar 6
Beast Collar's the same. We mentioned Ashrak has Shroud of Shadows earlier in the video, so he can turn spiders invisible.
And he can lead spiders.
He has 1 more will than he was before. He can lead spiders, which because they aren't in the basic Moria list, are they? Or are they? Oh wait, are they? Let me see.
There's no giant spiders in this book.
Oh, is there not? Are they in the list?
No.
No. So you've got Ashrak with Spiderkin, and he can't. There aren't any spiders in Moria. Oh no, Ashram may include giant spiders in his warbands if they're part of the same armor list. This does not count as allying.
And then Drizag's got the same.
Yeah.
With wards or what? Giant spiders and bat swarms.
Oh, okay, cool. That makes sense. Captains are the same. They're by extension worse because they can't direct strike, but still, they're still good. You take them more because I'm going to come on to these guys in a second. But Shamans, Fury's worse. You only take 1 Shaman now. So captains are good. Cheap captains, 35 points.
Yeah.
Same points values. They haven't changed. They're still 35 points. They're still good. Drop them in, hoard them out, get as many as you can. Black Shield captains. So Black Shields drop by a strength, which means Black Shield captains drop by a strength. Black Shield captains were already bad, and they stayed the same points, and they dropped by a strength by Hatred Dwarves. Yes, they wound Iron Hills on 4s with their 200 weapons, but a fight-free 200 weapon captain is rubbish. If Gethin's scared of playing Grimbold, who's fight 5 with 3 might and a 200 weapon, these guys, they're just rubbish. They never win fights. They're just bad. They're really bad. Don't take them. I've played them before. They're bad. You think they might be okay if you can set them up, but it's impossible. It's just really not worth it. Moria Black Shield Shamans, they're really, really good. It's a toss-up between... Yeah, Shatter's a really good spell. Even now, it's still really good. It's better now because other magic's gotten worse at dealing with heroes. It's a real toss-up. You take 1 Shaman, it's a real toss-up between these guys and Moria captains. Because the captains are cheaper and they have the extra might. So you might go a 50-50 split, depending on how many warbands. I don't know what you do yet. I haven't really broke lists out, but... Dragons are the same.
They got, Monster Charge. So +1 attack and knockdown. I don't know if
I think they had that. They had that anyway.
Was that
it was just a special rule. Yeah, they're like Draconic Charge.
Same.
Cave Drake's got Monstrous Charge. I don't know if they had it or not.
Don't think they did.
They also have Protect the Nest. So the little baby Drake model that you have, or the nest model that you have in the kit. Now you put it on a 25mm base, and when the Cave Drake's near it, at the start of the game before any monster's deployed, they place the nest. 1 nest per Cave Drake anywhere on the board, and whilst within 3, so anywhere on the board, so even any opponent's deployment zone. Whilst within 3 inches of the nest marker, a Cave Drake gains the fill special rule. It's pretty rubbish. I mean, it's just a buff. It just helps, but
I know
the courage 4 with 3 will anyway.
Yeah, I know some people are. I know Jasmine was hyping these up on the page.
Cave Drakes are good. It's that rule's meh.
They can be trapped and stuff now though. They lost that rule.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
No, that never happened anyway. No one ever trapped them. You just fed them. They're really cheap for what they are. They're dragons that can't fly for half the points. Pretty much. They are good. The Cave Drakes are pretty good, but I wouldn't put them in because I think there's a different way to build this list. The Watcher I think he dropped 50 points. It's from the deep pool. Oh, so the Watcher dropped 50 points?
Yeah.
Now, before it was every time he took a wound, he lost an attack. Now it's when he drops to 3 wounds or below, he drops to 3 attacks.
Yeah.
Which is a lot better. It's much better.
Also, he's got a very situational Brutal Power Attack. If he's in water,
instead of striking normally, if the Watcher of the Water is within a water feature, you can select a single man-sized or smaller model involved in the same fight and then roll a d6. On a 3+, that model suffers a wound. Fate rolls can be made as usual. If the wound is not saved, the model is dragged to the depths and immediately slain. The Watcher is then removed from the board and its controlling player will start to roll for the Watcher to re-arrive as described in the front D-Smash roll. You're never going to use this roll. It's cool. You're never going to use like I've played on I think 2 boards in my life that have had water features on. Yeah. One of them was the Lake Town board, and that was hellish to play on. And the other one there was a lake that neither of us went anywhere near. And you know if there's a Watcher on the water on the board, they're not going anywhere near this tiny little lake.
I think the only time I ever played on water feature was there was one of the boards at the ETC had water.
Oh really?
But yeah, that's it.
It just doesn't happen very often. If water was as frequent as
Forest.
I was even thinking about if it was Forest, then it'd be good. The other thing is Dead of Dunharrow, the Army of the Dead run over water for free.
Oh.
But again, it doesn't matter, that's why we forgot about it. The forests though, slow them down. There's a lot of branches slowing down these ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
Roots, tripping them up. But yeah, doesn't make a difference. Mario Goblins, they're the same. Mario Black Shields, they dropped a strength and they gained Hatred Dwarf. These guys are not very good anymore. Because they're just bad in any match. They're good against dwarves.
The same point.
They used to be that they were really good against elves and not very good against... Because they ruined elves on 5s, because they were strength 4 for the armoured ones. They were defense 6, they were a real pain in the ass for elves to kill. And, yeah, but dwarves they were on 6s, so I offset that by giving some of them axes to crack through dwarves. But yeah, they're just not very good anymore. Like, against dwarves they're still okay, but you're not going to hit dwarves as often as you need to.
Mm-hmm.
So just don't bring these guys. They could do with it. I mean, a point cheaper, they might be too good. But yeah, they're just not very good. The Goblin Drum, it dropped by 25 points. And it's the same, I think. As far as I can tell, it's the same.
Both drums, I believe, the same. Still not bonus.
No. So the Black Shield Drum dropped 25 points too, but it's only a 12-inch range. It's not an 18.
Okay.
But you can pick it up. So that's the disadvantage. You got to run close to your dudes. I don't know which one's better. I think the Black Shield Drum's probably still better, even though it's only 12. 18 inches is very big though. I've played with a normal Mario drum before, and it's really big range. These guys might actually be worth taking, but it's trying to fit them in.
Mm-hmm.
Now we come to the best part of this list now. Mario Goblin Prowlers. These guys are, they're on my list of ones I wanted to talk about. They're busted. They're really good. Mario Prowlers are really good. Mm-hmm. Because they dropped a point, because they get the 200 weapon for free now. They still have throwing daggers, and throwing daggers got better, and they hit on 4s. Now the thing with a Mario Prowler is that they're fight 3, not fight 2. So that, like, trapping your opponents, +1 fight value for normal goblins, fight 2 to fight 3 probably doesn't matter, because most things you're going to be above fight 3. Mm-hmm. But Mario Prowlers go fight 3 to fight 4. That's a really big deal. In a lot of matchups, it's a really big deal. And then when you... This is harder to do, but if you get Groblog in there too, half your combats you're having fight 5 Prowlers with 2-handed axes and backstabbers. That is very good. Like, that is genuinely really good. Especially with the fact that they're just... Prowlers are really good now. They're definitely good. You put them in Mario lists, they're super good. Mm-hmm. You pair them with Bat Swarms, because Bat Swarms can very easily trap opponents by flying over the back and trapping and messing with their battle lines. The other thing you can do is... I mean, a Bat Swarm along with Prowlers halves the fight value. The only model that stays... that matches Prowler's fight value when you trap them with a Bat Swarm is Gil-galad, who drops to fight 4.
Barog.
And yeah, big monster. I mean, like, good heroes that are big. Okay. It's what, Gil-galad? Because I'm thinking good for evil, because most of the tournaments I play are good for evil. Anyone else is fight 8 or... Anyone who's fight 8 or 9 or 10 are okay. They're not great though. Fight 8 or 9 drops to 4, and then you get Groblog in there too, and he can take them to fight 5. Yeah. So yeah, just the problem with Bat Swarms is that they're a lot of points. But you only need like 3 or 4 because they're a pain to kill. Because they've got 4 wins. Yeah, the way that I would play this list out is hoard it out and get in as many Prowlers and Bat Swarms as you can.
Yeah. Like
maybe 4 Bat Swarms and like 10 to 20 Prowlers. Maybe more, but it depends. You probably want a core of infantry. But they are very good. This is a scary list. Prowlers especially in this list are very scary.
Yeah.
Can we skip the Warden Order?
I was going to say, do you want to quickly do the walking order?
Jamie talked about it in his Speak Friend question.
Oh, then my watch be out back in a few seconds.
You talk about it, I can't even.
Well, I'm just going quickly. So I was going to leave you.
You want me to talk about it? Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah? Cool. You muted him, Mike. That's why I didn't respond. So, walking orders, before they weren't very good. And they were too good because you couldn't dismount them. They were cavalry models that stayed together even when you knocked them down. Now they aren't. They drop 5 points. You can kill the warg out from under them, and then every goblin you kill off the top, they get worse. Well, I think they are. Wait, let me check. So they get an extra attack. So it's a 1 attack base because the warg is 1, and then it gets 1 extra attack for each goblin after the first that is still mounted on the warg. So they aren't any better. They're the same when they're together. They're just slightly cheaper. The biggest, and all parts of the warg go to defense 5 while the dude with the shield is still alive. And then the orc bows can shoot, even if it's moved full, and even if it's in combat, but if they shoot in combat, then they don't give extra attacks to the fight, so you pretty much wouldn't now. The big problem with these guys is it's a lot of points for something that will just die if you kill the warg, because then you've just got 3 normal goblins that aren't very good. So no, walking orders are not very good, and as Jamie pointed out, to speak for the question, there's 4 different parts to this cavalry model. This is a lot of hassle to keep track of in a game, like to what's like which of the goblins has died off the top. They're not that good, and they're not going to be that fun to play because it's going to be a lot of hassle to track them. So yeah, it's not really worth bringing them. Please don't bring them. I really don't want to play against them. There's so much effort to play against.
Yeah, there's so much like management that you've got to do.
They're just complicated and they're not very good. Like if they were good, I could understand why you'd bring them. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
Dwellers in the Dark, let's say. I think, yeah, they're the same.
Still,
I'm also going to go to the toilet, so I'll let you do Isengard.
Well, it's perfect timing.
Yeah, I know, right? Turn off camera.
Alright, so, Isengard. Isengard are exciting. So, to start off with their army bonus, it's got 2 parts to it. And so to start with, you only start taking courage checks for breaking when you've lost 66% of your force. You still are broken at 50%, you just don't take any checks or anything like that, which is really cool. Especially if you're running a Warg Rider army like I do, that's going to be awesome. The second part is for the Uruk-hai Scouts. So, Lurtz, Ugluk, Maher, Vrasku, Uruk-hai Scout Captains, and Uruk-hai Scouts all have Woodland Creature, which is awesome. It's so cool the fact that they can just ignore the terrain, and that's the army bonus. You don't even have to have pure scouts, which would be nice. So first off, we've got Saruman. He's a hero legend for the army. He has been increased by 10 points. However, unlike with some of the Wraiths where because magic was nerfed, they're not as good, I still think he's a really good caster. We didn't really talk about Gandalf, but basically, so he's increased by 10 points. His spells have increased for Mobilizing Command, they're now range 18, so he's still got the control, and also he gets to reroll a dice for casting and resisting. So he's combined the evil profile with the good profile, because he still gets like the planter and stuff, which is really, really good. And then he's also got Flame Burst, which is the thing that Kardash had. But no, I really like Saruman. I'm still probably going to be taking him in all of my Isengard forces. And then because I'm taking him, I'm going to be taking Grima as well. Grima, completely the same. Only modification for Grima is that he can now deploy in Saruman's Warband if you wish. Can't see many times that you would want to do that. But for some reason you might want to put him in your Warband with your army instead. So, onto what is probably the most asked for profile change from the community, Lurtz. Lurtz in the old edition was like same points as all the other captains, but had no benefit to him. However, now he's been turned into what I'd probably say is a bit of a combat monster for 90 points. So he's still 5/5 strength 5, he's increased to 3 attacks, 3 wounds, still got his 3 might, and he's got an insane, like, I don't know what you think about the special rule, Josh, but I think Lurtz's special rule is super good. for scenarios like Maelstrom and Recon, he doesn't roll to see if he arrives on the board. He doesn't roll to see where he arrives. He just picks.
He also comes on turn 1 in Recon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you said that, you cut out of it, so... yeah, it's
so,
a good rule.
Yeah, Maelstrom Battle is the last warband you deploy, and you put him wherever you want. Just want to catch out a warband, want to put him with your army, go for it.
He goes through warriors.
Yeah.
He's not a great hero killer. He does have heroic strike and strength and challenge, so he can. But that's not. I don't think that's his best use. He's good at killing mid-tier heroes. He goes through warriors.
Yeah, 3 attacks, 5/5, strength 5. He's just decapitating people. It's really good.
He slots really nicely into those like armies that run a lot of heroes.
Yeah.
With a few warriors.
He also gets a free shield if you want.
Oh yeah.
Basically, you're allowed to shield. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else. Obviously, you don't have +1 defense or anything. Then probably now taken his spot as the worst of the captains. Ugluk. I guess not as bad because Berserkers aren't going to be run as much. But he's being increased by 5 points, and his
strike. Yeah, it's heroic strike, which the others don't.
He does, but don't the others?
No, the rest of us will come to them later, but they don't.
Okay. So his decapitation rule, rather than being in base contact, you only have to be within 2 inches, which that is definitely a buff.
It just sort of plays how it should. I think it was awkward.
Yeah, it plays how it should. I still don't think I'll run him in my army. I'm going to be running Saruman and probably Thryden, so I don't really care about the courage checks, I'll be honest.
We'll have to play test it because having the heroic strike might be a really big deal. As it turns out, we don't really know. I haven't played a game of New Edition yet. My first game was on Tuesday, so we don't know. This is our guesses, like our first thoughts for a lot of the case.
So next up, stat-wise and stuff, all these captains now are the same. So Shaku, increased by 5 points, and whenever an enemy hero in base contact resolves a strike against Shaku and fails to wound, they take a strength 4 hit. It's kind of cool. You're only defense 5, 6 with a shield, so if a hero is wounding you, they're probably gonna cause a wound on you. Vrasku, exact same, but increased by 5 points. I still think he's crazy good.
He's lost strike.
He's lost strike.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, I didn't really use strike too much though.
Better ones. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He's still probably one of the better ones.
Maher is exactly the same. Doesn't have strike, has march and strength, and can only upgrade his warband to be movement 8.
He's still good.
Yeah. Thryden. Spoke about him a bit.
The Balrog killer.
The Balrog killer, yeah. So he stayed the exact same points. He has strike and strength, but he's been increased to 5 value 5, and he's also... I can't remember if he had a 12-inch stand fast. I think he did. Yeah. So same points, still has strike and strength, and he's 5/5. I think that he's good. He can now deal with heroes.
4 to 5 is a really big push for a hero like that.
That was the biggest issue with Thryden. I've run him in a few of my Wargrider lists, and it's just... You run him into troops, he's just lost a fight to a dwarf.
Having the sword as well as the axe.
And he's got a sword, so he doesn't have to two-handed. So he's significantly better than Grimbold. This is what Grimbold should be. He even has a horse. Damn it, Jay. Yeah.
It was like 35 points cheaper though.
Yeah. We then have all the unnamed captains. I believe they're all just the same.
There's a scout captain now.
Yeah, there's no scout captain.
I mean, there was a scout captain before. It was just an Uruk captain that you didn't give heavy armor.
Yeah. So the Uruk captain comes with heavy armor now.
But now, because of the army bonus, where you can either get a woodland creature, they've had to split up the profiles.
Yeah.
To give one woodland creature and the other not. In that situation.
Then all the other heroes are the same. Dunn, Chieftain, the Shamans. Warriors. The base warriors are the same. Asgard Troll's the same. And Dunn.
Asgard Troll went up a fight value and a strength for 5 points more.
Oh yeah.
They used to be fight 6, strength 6, now they fight 7, strength 7.
Still.
So it used to be that they go up with defense, but they traded the fight and the strength.
Yeah.
And they were 5 points more, but the Mortal Trolls were just always better. Now they're literally better versions of Mortal Trolls because they're a higher defense and a higher courage for 10 points.
Yeah. The Dunlanding stuff stayed the same, so, and the Siege Engine as well. So Berserkers and Ferals.
It's the big change.
Ferals are now garbage. Berserkers I'll still take Berserkers, I just won't take an entire army of them.
So Ferals, am I right in thinking they dropped the defense?
Yeah.
The same points, but they dropped the defense.
No, increased a point.
Oh, they a point more.
Yeah.
Oh, so they went up a point, lost the defense, and they now have Oblivious to Pain.
Yeah. So
someone who's played Gundabad Berserkers, Oblivious to Pain isn't very good.
Yeah. So it's if you take a wound, you get a 6+ save. Which
You think in theory that it's going to work out to 1 in 6 of your troops living, so you think it's going to be very similar to having the defense increase. It kind of is, but a lot of the time your models get overkilled. Yeah, they take 2 or 3 wounds in a combat because they're trapped. And then, I don't know, I guess you could say the same for defense. I don't know if it just feels like it's worse, but it definitely feels like it's worse than the defense.
I think, Ferals are significantly worse.
Maybe mathematically it works, not the same, but it feels worse.
Berserkers, they've stayed the same points. They've dropped a defense, however, against shooting they still count defense 6.
Which is only relevant for elf bows.
Yeah. Oh,
so like
shooting. And Asgroth bows. But
that's
who's running Dale?
Anything that's like elf bows, long bows. Yeah. So that's for when Legolas can't kill the Berserker.
They also have the roll of a 6, they ignore the wound save. But they have their weapon is a Berserker blade. So it's a hand and a half sword, so you can go one-handed or two-handed. However, if you win the fight as it's two-handed, you can either strike normally or deal a strength 4 hit with +1 to wound on every model engaged in the fight or supporting the Berserker and in base contact. You may use that. Why you're going two-handed is questionable.
Two-handed, like, when you're gonna, I can't imagine using this. You'd have to be fighting at least 3 enemy models.
Yeah.
To make it worth it. I think you need to get rid of someone in the chat.
Yep.
Just get that one out of there. But yeah, it's just a situation. I can't imagine a situation where anyone should use this. No. Like, unless you want to do what you did when you played the Balrog against my army, and you just get mobbed by dudes, and you go like Leroy Jenkins it, and throw it and hope you win anyway, and then swing at them all. But realistically, from like trying to make a competitive point of view, you're probably not going to use it.
Maybe Berserkers and Shade?
Yeah.
Counteract the two-handed, but then it's expensive. It's very expensive.
It is indeed. It's doable though.
Yeah, definitely doable.
I think that's it for them, right?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm just doing a full Ari book review.
Yeah, we pretty much are,
files that we like.
That's the thing though, I was going to say this at the end, but I'm going to bring it up now. I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in good.
Yeah, we were talking.
Good is so boring now, I think.
We're going to come to it in like a second when we get to Candish, but I was starting a Candish army anyway.
Yeah.
Like I've got some models here for it before I got the book. And I saw the book and I saw some of the changes and changed it quite slightly. Still Candish, but in a different way. Because chariots are really fun and silly. And then I was like, what good army do I go along with them? And
it is good to be
flat. Armies just aren't very interesting. It's some combination of, you have All Hero, which me and you don't really like. Like I've played it before because it's cool, but it doesn't play in a very fun way on the tabletop.
It is. I don't find it fun to play against, and I'm not really fun to play with, so I just don't. I hate it. I hate it as a concept in war games.
But it's a bit frustrating for a lot of people to play against. So then once you take those out, it's like you're either playing a shield wall or a shooty army, or some combination of those two. So,
which I did for the past what? How long?
Yeah,
have
it's
I
just I play Gondor and it's like it just gets boring after a while.
Evil's
All
just
of the
so
interesting
much more
models
interesting.
like Great Beasts of Gorgoroth, Chariots,
Wargs, camels,
all the cool
mullets.
stuff's in Evil,
Yeah.
right? There's not very much cool stuff in Good. So I don't know. Look,
It's probably the reason that I think us talking about Evil's going to take longer than Good and the rulebook
we're
combined.
much more interested in it.
Yeah.
We skimmed Good because it's a lot of it's so I should expect. I don't know what I want to do for my Good army.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Most of Good is the same as well.
Yeah. I mean, I might do a dwarf army.
Yeah.
But just do barely Kazagard, but I don't know.
Durin, that would be cool.
We come to Easterlings.
We're at Eastlings.
Ben Davis 706. This one's for you. One's for you, my friend.
So Eastlings have become actually pretty good.
Yeah, they're decent.
So their army bonus, they get +1 courage when the fuss is broken, and also once per game in scenarios in which a dice is rolled to see when the game ends, so long as there is at least one Eastling hero alive, the Eastling player may choose to have the dice re-rolled if the scenario ends before they wish it to.
Okay, so I didn't realise it was once per game, but
yeah.
something that I think Jamie and James.
Yeah, I was going to say this. On Speak Friend in Question, they said that you get to re-roll either.
Page, but yeah, they said if you got the objective and you want the game to end, you can re-roll it. You can't. This rule can only be used to prolong the game.
Yes.
You can't end it faster.
Which
means
is good.
It's not very good. It's thematically it's really cool, and this is probably my favourite army bonus from like a thematic point of view. It's the coolest one, and it's the one that makes the most sense. Is it very good? Not really. Like,
I don't know.
Courage when their force is broken is good. That's okay.
It can be okay because it means that there are obviously there's situations where it's like, oh, I wish it. Yeah, but it's that kind of rule, isn't it?
You need to be broken, losing the game, but have a chance to win it if it continues to go on, and have a hero alive.
I don't think you have to be broken for the reroll. I think you just...
no, you don't.
No.
Okay, that's better. That is better.
Yeah. So basically, it's like, oh, I need one more turn. Oh, the game's just ended. Reroll the dice. Okay, I've got the next turn. Get the objective. You can't stop them doing it, which I think is better because at Throne of Skulls it was like that. No one ran Easterlings, but I think that it's better to only reroll if it to stop it from ending.
To prolong the game.
Yeah, I think it's better that way.
Feels a lot fairer. It's a cool rule. It's cool. Is it super good? No. Could you... This is going to come back to something else that we're probably high bother talking about once we're done. But some of the army bonus rules aren't good enough to warrant you not just cutting them to ally in for the competitive list. Some of them are. Eagles definitely are. But Eagles probably are. I don't know. Maybe. +1 Shrimp's good on the charge. But some of them are just like, whatever. You can just ally stuff in regardless anyway. At least you don't want to do impossible, but convenience would be good.
Well, I want to do impossible.
Buffs are in. Yeah, you could for like fringe use, but impossible. Impossible. Most of the Eastling buffs came in their profiles in the army. Yes. So we've already talked about Kamal, who stayed the same pretty much. Amdo is the next big one. He's jumped by, I believe, 30 points, 40 points.
30 or 40 points.
Yeah. I think he was 100. 30, I'm pretty sure he was 100. Guess what points he is now? He's not the same at all.
No.
Yeah, he's gone up. Ben says he's gone up by 30. So he's the same fight, strength, and defense, but he's gone up by an attack and a wound.
Yeah.
Which are two very good stats to go up by, especially on a hero as many points as him. He was defense 6, 2 wounds before. It's not very good. He died a lot. He was very easy to kill if you really wanted to. It's just that people normally couldn't be bothered because it was more effort than it was worth. He didn't do anything. He's also gone to free will, whereas before he was 1, he's still 3 might and 1 fate. He's got an elven made hand and a half sword, which is good. It's still good. He's kept it. He's got heroic strike and heroic challenge. Strike's really good. We've spoken about strike and challenge. They're good ones for him to have. He has special rules, blood and glory, so he still gets might back if he kills monsters or heroes. Unyielded combat stance, so if he falls over, he's got a 50-50 chance of not falling over. Then he has Phalanx and the Gleaming Horde, which we'll come to later when we talk about the warriors and the knights.
Yeah,
but essentially he works with the army's bonuses. All Easterling models, this is a different rule, Herald of Victory, all Easterling models treat Amdo as a banner. Should Amdo kill the enemy leader in combat, the range of this banner is increased to 6 inches. It's pretty much what he had before. It's going to be hard to kill the enemy leader in combat, but it encourages you to play in the style that he should be played, and he's good at it. So is it cool? Yes. This is the best rule change for him. Whenever an enemy model in combat with Amdo declares a heroic strike, Amdo may immediately declare, this is the Lord of Blades, declare the same heroic action for free. If Amdo has already declared any other kind of heroic action, he may change his choice, but he does not regain any life points he's expended. That second part's actually kind of useful. But he's fight 6 with an Elven Made sword, so he's winning most roll-offs. So things like, obviously, Gil-galad, Elendil, Azog, these fight 7 heroes, don't care. But heroes like, Aragorn, Boromir, it's a real pain, because they're probably not going to beat him in combat. And if they want to give it a good shot of beating him, they're giving him just as much of a chance for free. So against a lot of profiles, he pretty much has better odds than his opponents to win the fight. He is a good duelist.
He's what he should be. He was supposed to be like this crazy duelist who just like 1v1 Aragorn like every day of the week. He could not do that at all in the last edition.
Yes, so he lacks hitting power and resiliency, but as far as winning fights goes, point for point, he's probably one of the best at winning fights. So he's a cool profile. I really like the Amdo profile.
Agreed.
Hopefully they'll show up more. I'm not a huge fan of the mounted model, but the foot one's really, really nice.
Yeah.
Dragon Knights, I think, dropped by 5 points, gained a might points, they're up to 2 might, and they're minor heroes now, so they can lead 6 troops, whereas before they were independent. But the only models that they can include in their warbands have to be black dragons.
Yeah. I still wouldn't.
Yeah, I still wouldn't take these guys. They're better than they were. But they do have heroic strike. They're 65.
I guess that's not bad. Actually,
65 points for 2 knights heroic strikes with 3 attacks at fight 5.
Maybe worth rolling 1.
They can shield as well with the 2 swords, but yeah, I mean you could drop them in. Like you got points left. They have a use. Would I take them? Probably not.
No.
Captains are the same, I think. I think they may have gone up 5 points, but they come with a hand and a half axe.
Yeah. Priests are the exact same.
But if you mount them up, then they can swap that glaive, which is the hand and a half axe, for an armoured horse and a sword.
For 10.
Yeah. War priests are the same, but they can now channel Blade Wrath.
Yeah.
Ben says he doesn't think Dragon Knights are worth it either. You could channel Blade Wrath now, which is really good with Amdo. What we were saying before, he doesn't have any hitting power. When you make him strength 10, he does. Or is he strength 9 or 10? I can't remember.
10.
Is that either way? Strength 10, so he's really
Even
Dane
strength
on
6
3.
is pretty good. Just unchanneled.
Yeah, if you channel it, if you can knock Dane off his horse, off his pig, sorry, you charge him with Amdo, 4 attacks, you throw. I mean, this is obviously a lot of setup, but you should win the fight, and then you're rolling 8 dice, needing 3s to wound. It's pretty good. So yeah, you might not also cast Fury anymore with War Priests. You might want to save the might for Blade Wrathing Amdo, which you almost never did before. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, they're pretty much the same. I don't know if they were always casting the 2+ Blade Wrath. Easterling Warriors are exactly the same,
So yeah,
except
Warriors and Carafrax are the exact same, except they both got a special rule. So
they both got new special rules.
The Eastling one is that now if you have pikes and shields. Oh, first off, if you have a pike and a shield, you don't get the -1, which everyone else does, which is really cool. And also, when backing away, 2 models can make way rather than 1, which is huge because the issue with pike blocks. Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say this is the only army in the game that can do them for this reason.
There used to be pike blocks, and if you go for the middle pike block, this guy's dropped. No, nothing like you can do. They
You trap your models because pike blocks are 3 deep, so there's 2 guys behind. So you trap, so especially when your opponents pick fights, they pick from the middle outwards, because they're trapping your models, which is really bad, because it kills all your own dudes, which is why you almost never see... You'll see people start out with like Urukai and they'll do a pike block. They'll do it for 2 games, and then they'll never do it again, because it doesn't work. Eastlings can do it, which allows them to compress an enormous amount of models into a very small space and have a very resilient, strong block. They're the only army in the game that can do it. So you already pipe blocks, play slings.
Yeah.
Cataphracts. It's a good rule. Cataphracts are so weird.
So they've got the same.
Yeah, they have phalanx too.
They're the same thing, but I don't know why.
Fall off, well, if you do, you can put them on the front then.
Oh yeah, then support them with
If they
it.
fall off.
I guess you can do the same even when they're mounted.
You could just do a front cataphract backed up by spit pikes, because this gets the second rule. They have a special rule called the Gleaming Horde, which is basically shield wall, so +1 defense when they're in base contact with 2 or more other models with this rule. But it only works when they're mounted. But it also works for their horse. Which means cataphracts, when they've got 2 models next to them, go to defense 7 on the front, and the horse goes to defense 6. Which means you could do a full rank of cataphracts backed up by pikes. Which is probably the best way to play this army.
Ben?
By the looks of things.
Ben, you know what to do. Get some cataphracts.
This is such a weird... I didn't even realise these guys have phalanx too. Yeah, just do full rank of cataphracts. I mean, the bases are kind of awkward. I'm guessing you can still support even bigger bases.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it anywhere. But, yeah, I mean... It's a really weird thing. I don't know. That's what I do. Yeah, I have 10. Yeah, do that, my friend. 10 of them on the front, 20 pikes. There you go, that's your list. And this is the thing, Amdo can do either of these roles, so he also has Phalanx in the Gleaming Horde.
Mm-hmm.
So Amdo goes to, even though he doesn't have a shield, he goes to defense 7 when he's in base contact with these models, and he goes to defense, his horse goes to defense 6. So the problems of his lack of hitting power and lack of resiliency are offset somewhat by the list he's in.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's a really cool list. It's one of the lists that I think is cooler than the rest because it plays fair. There's nothing gimmicky and cheesy and stupid. It plays fair. It does what it wants, and it's fairly good. It's not terrible. So yeah, I like these thing changes. I'm a big fan.
It's very
I consider them a good middle line faction to consider all the armies off of. Yeah, you know what to say about them. Would you take Black Dragons?
Probably not.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
2 points a model. It's not.
You can take some now because you can go 3 deep more often, but yeah, it's a lot of points. It might not. It might be worth it. Depends how many fight. If everyone's playing Gondor and Rohan, it might actually be pretty good.
Well, not Rohan.
These guys. Oh yeah, because you got cavalry front line, so they don't get their charge bonus.
They're still 5-4 though.
Sorry. Yeah, but then you go to fight 4, so you match their fight.
Oh, okay, right.
And then when they lose the charge, you go to a higher. And then if the Rohan player wins the fight against you on the charge, he has to hit your horse because he's wounding your guy on top on 6s because he's defense 7. This is actually pretty good against Rohan and Gondor, I think.
I might start an Eastling army.
The cataphract front line backed up by... So this is what we say when we said Evil's got stupid rules. They're making the game funny. Yeah, just do that. Cataphracts on the front, pikes behind. It's too good. Not too good, but good.
So...
Now,
Canned.
we have mixed opinions on these rules. So Canned and Eastlings have been split, which is fair. They can still ally.
There's not much point talking about most account.
No, I'll glaze over them because there's only been a few changes. There are bonuses that the horsemen and chariots don't count towards the forces spell limit. It kind of sucks because Rohan get that for free just as a rule, and then they have an army bonus on top of that. So I don't know why. Maybe it's because Canned are too good. But yeah, it's kind of low effort. It kind of sucks as well, mostly because the raiders, they don't sell the raiders anymore. If they started selling raiders again, I could see these guys being good.
For Ben, I wouldn't make Cataphracts Black Dragons. You want to make Pikes Black Dragons.
Because then your models on the front are the fight 4 ones then. So if they kill the ones in the front are the ones in the most danger. So you want the guys as far back as possible. Yeah. So the Phalanx rule encourages you to put models 3 deep, which makes Black Dragons slightly more viable.
But as the pikemen.
Yeah.
And then you can also feign with the cataphracts.
Yeah. Oh no, you'd be stabbing.
Oh, it depends what you find.
Yeah. Hello, is it Cool Boy? It's an 8, so is it Cool Boy? Cool Beatty? I'm not sure. Hello.
Hey mate.
We're most of the way through the... we've done the rulebook, we're most of the way through the Lord of the Rings profiles. We're planning to upload this to the YouTube channel, even though it's a really long video. I don't know why you'd want to
aced it.
Talking about this, but you aced it. Wonderful. I gave about 3 different.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
hopefully I aced it in some way. But yeah, so we're up to Candish now. We're going to upload this to the YouTube channel, I think. Or
Yes.
Gethin is, because I don't do any work.
Yeah, I'll be able to upload it to the Hobbits of Cheshire YouTube channel at some point this week. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to upload and publish and stuff. So
yeah, we'll see when it gets there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Candish. Go ahead with chariots. Yes.
So the Candish, we'll do the Candish. We'll just glaze over the profiles. Candish Kings dropped by a fight value, went up by an attack. So that's the general rule: is that non-Numenor men don't go above 5/5, except for Boromir, because he's Boromir. And then the Candish King's banner is now 6 inches, not 3 inches, which is better. It's enough. He still does. He counts as banner, so he still doesn't get the VPs. And this is a point as well. Chieftains and Kings now are 5 points more, but they automatically come with the bow. And Candish axes are hand and a half axes. They're not two-handed axes, so you can choose to go one-handed with them, which is good. But you're not going to be faced to strike as often. And a lot of the models have daggers too, to get your choice. Warriors are the same, except now you don't have to pay a point to swap your hand and a half axe for a bow, which is what you used to do for some reason. Candish horsemen come with all of the gear, but they have to drop either their axe or their bow if they fall off the horse. Candish horsemen are really good. They're genuinely really good, but they don't sell the models. But if they do, you know, I'm buying like 6 packs before they go off again. This is the big change for Candish, which is their chariots. Now, the chariots weren't very good before because although on a 1-4 you hit the chariot for shooting, so they were kind of defensible from shooting, you could just choose to hit the dude on top, and it's a 1 wound defense 4 model for 25 points. So they just die. And like they didn't do anything because they were just essentially cavalry models on much bigger bases. So they were just not very good. They really weren't very good, except for the king, because they gave him a stable platform to get the charge bonus. Chariots have changed a lot. They've gone up 5 points, but now that 1-4 shooting thing, it applies in combat too, which was what I wanted to happen and what I expected to happen, because it makes them more survivable even in combat. I like that change. However, and they can shoot their bow even if the model with a bow on the chariot can shoot it even when it's moved full distance, and then you choose between a bow and a hand and a half axe. The big change to chariots is that they now work like an Iron Hills chariot, not like a horseman. They're more like an Iron Hills chariot than a horseman. So you pivot the chariot, and then you move it. I think it's what at the start of the move phase you can pivot it 45 degrees, then it can move up to 10 inches in a straight line, and then after each full 3 inches it can pivot again 45. Yep. So you can't just like run it around wherever you want now. You've got to sort of set up your charge angles the same way that the Iron Hills chariot does. It's very restricted on movement, which is a really big deal. However, it now has the equivalent of like trample impact hits. So like the Great Beast, the Mimic, and the Iron Hills chariot, it does that too. But it's 2 strength 4 hits. 2 strength 4 is better than 1 strength 6. 2 hits, rolling 2 dice for these adds a lot to the likelihood of killing models. You know, if you're going into anything defense 3 or 4 like Harad, Numenor without shields, hobbits, wood elves, just a lot of factions are defense 4. You've got like a 75% chance of hitting, killing the first 2 you hit. And even defense 5 and 6 factions, it's slightly better than 50-50 odds of killing them with these chariots.
55, isn't it?
55, 56%, somewhere around there of killing them on 5s. This is very good, and they can keep going. And then once they hit, they just get a monstrous charge bonus, and they're knocking over other cavalry. This is why they're so good against Rohan, because when you hit a cavalry model, you hit the horse and the rider, so you're pretty all but guaranteed to kill one or the other. So you're almost always doing damage when you charge, and then you knock them down. And then the other thing about them is that it's a trample move, it's not a charge, meaning that
you can
heroic march. So they're essentially a 15-inch move model. So against Rohan armies, they can't do anything to you besides trying to get around you, because you can outmove them. Which, so you remember that scene in Parallel Fields when the Mimics go at the Rohan? It's like that, except you've got chariots. They have to get around the back of you.
And the chariots are 30 points each.
Yeah, so you can actually do it as well, because you can get like 20 at a list. Because the chariots are astoundingly cheap. Now, the interesting thing is whether you put your heroes on chariots. I think the heroes are better on horses, because that's more mobility. You wouldn't put them on chariots.
I wouldn't put them on
I
chariots.
don't think you'd run all chariot armies either. I think you'd do either try and hoard out Kandish and then drop a chariot in each warband, or you go all cavalry. I think the best Kandish list is all mounted Kandish with like maybe 6 or 7 raiders to every chariot. 5 or 6, 6 or 7 to every one chariot is, I think, the best. And I think those lists are genuinely good.
Yeah.
They're not broken, right? Because it's hard to get might in, because might isn't super cost efficient, because you've got to mount all your heroes up. And the chariot's kind of expensive, so you need the might to march and move and do all that stuff. And 2 Shrimp Fours isn't the most reliable thing, right? Whoops. I knocked my my webcam a lot there, so it's going to shake around. But Kandish Raiders are very good for their points as well. You know, you can have all bows. It's a good list. It's genuinely a good list. Now, I'm going to be planning on taking a Kandish King on chariot, 3 chieftains on chariot, and 14 chariots to start to the Scouring of Stirlingshire for fun. Do I think it'll be good? No, I think they're too awkward to move around each other. But this is a brand new model design. Like, not a new model design, but at this point value, normally models are like 4, 5, or 6 times as many points as this, or more, to get this effect into your list. The only exception being camels, which we're going to come on to in a second. So it changes the game, because normally you'd only hit 1 of these types of models and you have to play around it. Now you can hit like 6 or 7, or in some cases even 20, which changes the game pretty dramatically. This is really, really cool. I love it. It's really fun. It's really funny. I think it's great. Gethin hates it because he thinks it's dumb. Gethin thinks it's really stupid. I think it's stupid, but I don't think it's too good, to be honest. The more I think about it, the more I don't think it's as good as we initially thought it was. But I think it's going to be really funny. I think Mahud Raiders are better than chariots. I mean, I don't know. It depends how, like, without playing them, it depends how big of a deal the restricted movement is.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, though, it's not a charge, so Maelstrom of Battle.
Yeah.
Hobbit Warband comes on, just 3 chariots behind them, straight through. That's so funny if you pull that off.
Mowing down.
But, yeah, no, it's super cool. I love the Kandish chariots. It gives the Kandish an identity, where they really didn't have one before.
Yeah,
Almost Kandish is now the thing. And when Games Workshop does release the, if they do, Horsemen again, because I'm not spending like £20 a model on eBay for them, I will buy like 30 or 40, and I will just spend £200 or whatever on like 30 or 40, and then I will play the good version of Kandish. But until then, it will be all chariots. Yeah, so I just talked about Kandish there because they're the faction I'm starting up now. So yeah, they're an okay faction. They're not. I don't think they'll be top 2, but I think they'll be like tier 2. I think they're better than Easterlings, but I think they're worse than the likes of Rohan and Numenor and Eagles. Yeah. Especially the only thing is though that everyone's going on about all hero. If you can set up if you can like force chariots into heroes, they'll kill their horses, and then you just need to crash like 3 of them into the heroes, and that's 6 strength 4 hits on the hero that they can't fight you on. So I don't know. I feel like if I can get good at this chariot list, it might be really good. They seem astoundingly hard to play.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can practice against Dan all the time, so it'll be Eagles versus Chariots, because I don't think anyone else is going to want to play against you.
Eagles is like, because, this is the other thing, because Eagles are potentially the best list in the game, Eagles are like the worst matchup known to, because you can't blast these guys because they've got a roll that stops it, but you can hurl through them, which means the Eagles can hurl through you, and they will. And the other thing is that Eagles not only outmove you, they also fly, which means that it's very hard to set up your charge angles when they just fly to the other side of you. Yeah. And the defense 8, so you probably won't kill them even if you get a charge as them. No, it's terrible. I'd honestly be tempted to just dismount my entire army if I played chariots against Eagles. Or maybe not the entire army, but like if they flew behind me, I'd probably just dismount and charge them. Mm-hmm. But it's a cool list. I really like the Kandish list. It's super fun. It's going to be funny to see whether people play it.
Yeah.
Do you want to do Harad?
Yeah, so I'll talk about, what we're saying, like top 2, top 3 list?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So we've already been over the Betrayer. When we get to the Warriors, I'll explain a bit more about once again why we think it's so broken. So the army bonus, 50% of their army can have bows. They've had that since the start of the Blue Books, so they've had that for a while. Additionally, all of the Haradrim Warriors and Haradrim Raiders apply poison weapons to all of their weapons. So this is just the bog standard guys, so no Watchers or Serpent Riders or anything like that. But they get poison bows and poisoned combat weapons, which is really cool. We've got Sul'dan as their main hero. He's increased by 10 points. I think his banner's increased as well, because he was only a normal banner, is now a 6-inch banner. He doesn't get -1 to win the fight.
Was he a banner? I don't think he was a banner at all in the old rules.
Oh, was he not? Oh, well.
No. And the other thing that Jay pointed out before, this guy and the Golden King, it's not they count as a banner, it's they have banners. So they count for VPs.
That's huge. Okay. Yeah. So Sul'dan's pretty good.
Kandish Kings don't though, even though they've got 4 banners on their chariots. Like ours, they don't have banners.
But yeah. So yeah, Sul'dan. It's pretty cool. Don't think you'd see him in every list. You might see him in quite a lot of Harad lists, but because you've got the Betrayer, you may not take him because you want to hoard out a bit more. Haradrim Kings look the exact same to me.
The thing is though that he is a hero of legend, sorry to jump back to him. So
yeah.
you can lead 18 anyway.
You can lead, it's 3 more than Kamul. But I think you can get...
It's either him or chieftains, and 2 chieftains can lead 6 more than he can.
Yeah.
But it's whether his banner and stuff offset that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think they might, to be honest. I think you might take this guy.
Next up we've got the Golden King. He's pretty much the same, except he does not have Strike, which, as Josh said before, is a pretty huge nerf. Because he's only fight 4. Also, his special rule is, it used to be, if you wanted to use will points to modify their courage check, and they wanted to use might points and will points to increase their courage check, you had to secretly bid how much each player is going to pay. That's gone now. You now have to spend your will points before your opponent. So,
as Dan pointed out too, he's also jumped up points.
Who?
The Golden King.
20 points.
I think he was jumped up 50. I think he was 115.
Okay.
But he is a banner as well. He doesn't count as one. He has one.
He has a banner, yeah.
I probably wouldn't.
Nah, he's okay, but as we get onto with the Haradrim Warriors, you're not going to be wanting this guy. It's too expensive.
It's a case of he's really good if you can bait your opponent to get your opponent to run.
Yeah.
Maybe at 1,000 points, you take him with the Betrayer and some of that, just because when you break them, it gives you the solution to like the Aragorns and Elendils and all that stuff. I think at lower points, there's just other things you want to be doing before this guy. So.
Yeah. So next up we've got the Hashirim. They are 10 points cheaper.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. They have strike and defense, which is pretty cool.
But their Elven Cloak got worse, obviously.
Oh yeah, the Elven Cloak got a bit worse. Chieftains, I believe, are the exact same. Maybe
they went up 5 points, but they could.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Might be 45.
Which is kind of worse because if you're taking them on foot, you used to just take them with a spear, which was only 1, but now they pay 5 for it.
So the Warlock.
It's like exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
I think it's the Nord Hide is defense 8 instead of 9 is the jump, but it might have only been 8 anyway.
Yeah.
Like some of the points values have changed, but I'm pretty sure I've looked through it a couple of times and I can't see anything that's changed.
Are we going to see it used?
Maybe when the upgraded version comes out.
Yeah, we'll probably see the upgraded version. Probably won't see this.
And it's super cool. So people might play just because it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. But people play it already. I don't think the changes are going to affect it. I think it'll be played just as much as it is now. Like Daniel and Whistle will play it. The odd person will have one in the list. But
there's other things you want to be doing with this list.
Yeah. And then finally, Taskmaster, similar to the Mordor ones, they're only 1 might and only affect move, march, and shoot. So yeah, they're okay. Arguably,
you might be able to slot one into this list. I don't know. It depends on how points work out if you're taking Sword and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're taking a bunch of Chiefs, it might be worth it.
Now, onto the good old Warriors. So, as you may remember before, the army bonus for this army is that all of the weapons are poisoned. That means that a Haradrim warrior for 7 points has poisoned combat weapons and has poisoned bows.
Half of them have poisoned bows. Yeah.
Huh?
Half of them have poisoned bows.
Half of them have poisoned bows, yeah. So now if you have the Betrayer in your army and you put them within 6 inches, their poisoned is reroll all wounds. So if you take a pure block and just have as many bows within 6 inches of the Betrayer as possible, you're getting about 3 to 5 turns of Bane of Kings shooting.
Army-wide Bane of Kings is broken.
Insanely good. Like, okay, you're a dwarf, sweet. I'm gonna kill you. Okay, you're elves, yeah, you're dead. Just like, no matter what you're shooting at, before they can get into combat with you, you've done a serious amount of damage. And then, what you can do, which I believe Dan's planning on doing, is you can just take Watcher's Arcana with Twin Blades at the front. The Twin Blades are poisoned, I believe? Are they? Oh no, the Twin Blades aren't poisoned. But you've got the 2 attacks from the Watchers with a poisoned spear at the back. That poisoned spear is still rerolling everything. It's like, I don't know how you deal with this. Like, it's out shooting you. When you get to combat, it's going to out combat you because it's killed so much. Maelstrom is their only weakness, I think.
So you can do like Suladan, the Betrayer, both on horses, 2 Chiefs, and then it's going to be what, 30, 42? It's going to be like 57 Haradrim, like box standard warriors, half of those, half of spears. I mean, you're not going to get all of that in the Betrayer's Bane of Kings, right? But
no.
It's too many models, but...
Is that Betrayer on foot? Or on horse?
No, on horse.
Yeah.
I mean, for the last 50 points, you could put him on a Fell Beast to make his base even bigger. Which actually might be worth it, because of how good that rule is. This list is disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the big weakness in it is you kill the Betrayer and it's a lot less effective. But killing a Ring Wraith sheltered behind 60 men, half of which have poison, half of which have bows, all of whom have Bane of Kings, is difficult.
Yes.
And it's not even like the army's short on might. The army has 9 might.
Yeah.
And a caster. And probably double your models.
And what you've... So what's good against shooting? Good stuff against shooting. Shadowlaw's been nerfed.
Yeah.
Blinding Light?
Blinding Light's probably... Well, this is the thing. They're less likely to show up because the models that have them are worse.
Yeah.
But it's whether shooting is so good in the new edition that they show up just because, you know, you need it to counter the list like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it's Dan saying. He's running Suladan, Betrayer, 2 Chieftains, and then Capital Element of Warriors. Just 5 boxes of Warriors.
Yeah,
it's just I don't know what you do to it. Like,
cavalry runs at you, you're going to shoot the cavalry down.
Canvas Chariots.
Canvas Chariots, you probably shoot them down, honestly.
Nah, mate, you'd hit the Chariots.
You'd kill the Chariots.
Yeah, with Bane of Kings.
And then you get that one or 2 hits on the rider, he's dead.
1 or 2 that make it through. And you kill like 2 or 3 guys with them as you charge through and then they die. Yeah, I don't know what you do to this.
I don't know how you beat this list. Eagles?
They kill Eagles.
Yeah.
Bane of Kings against Eagles.
That's where you get 2 turns of shooting against Eagles.
Yeah. I mean,
especially now that you can set back, you can set up on your board edge as well. So if it's 24-inch deployment.
I mean, it depends on the scenario, right? But
yeah,
this list just seems really hard to play against. I don't know. This is potentially the best list.
So yeah. So basically, I didn't
top 3.
I didn't enjoy playing you with your Harad normally, Dan. Don't think I want it anymore.
No, unlike the Watchers, this is going to be even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, Barney's pointed out Gandalf the White is good against them. Yes, but once again, it's the Blinding Light is good. Sorcerer's Blast doesn't really matter. It kills like 1 or 2. But yeah, the Blinding Light, but then you just constantly shoot like a Gandalf, I guess. Would you?
I don't know. It's just he's 220 points there, right?
Yeah.
240 with Shadow Facts. It's like if this gets taken down to the same points, would it be sad? I just did it without thinking.
What'd you do?
It's like a third of the list. So you just run at them at that point, right? You outnumber them. You have like 20 more dudes than them. You just run at them, right? Even if they're blinding lights, I guess you could have trebuchets and stuff, but then you just chunk your points. You just outnumber my armies by so much.
He is so Viper is historical allies with Rohan.
Who's Gethin of the White?
Gethin of the White, yeah. But you're not going to get the entire Rohan army in that bubble, right? And even if you do, when you hit combat, I'd rather pick Harad.
It's just too many models. Even when you get like good matchups against it, they're still not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I think Candice Chariot bad matchup, Eagles, I'm like impossible to win. But when I think Harad bad matchup, I'm like we'll give it a good run.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not as good as we think it is. Like it's hard to say without playing it.
So basically, we need Dan to take it to Sterling, which I think he's planning on doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're calling it. We're letting everyone know. So if you want to bring stuff that can beat it, go.
Do it. I'm completely fine with you bringing stuff that'll beat it, because then we know it's beatable. So Barney, run Gondor with Gethin of the White.
Just try stuff out. Like it just seems really strong to us. I think we're both in agreement that seems really scary list.
Yeah.
Just it's the Betrayer going to Bane of Kings on all poison weapons rather than 1s or 2s. When you're wounding, when you strength 2 and 3, you're winning most things on 6s, it's a really big deal. Like let's say you can probably get like 24 bows in the range. You shoot 12 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not as good. I don't know. Still killing like 4 or 5 models.
Soladon's got a poison sword.
It's pretty good.
So Soladon's got Bane of Kings.
Yep. I mean the Betrayer has Bane of Kings too. It's just not even that bad when you hit combat. Is the thing.
I don't know.
It just seems good. It just seems like a good list.
Yeah.
Definitely
think it's like one of the like top 3 lists.
Yeah, it's genuinely a good list.
Obviously, this is all, as we said before, like we're speculating here. This is what we're thinking. It could turn out that Hobbits are still the best list in the world, and no one could be Hobbits.
Because you can still support them with elves or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know, but our guesses are Eagles are going to be really, really good. Harad are going to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Numenor is like it doesn't make the cut, but it's like an honourable mention as maybe too good.
Mm-hmm.
Serpent Riders and Serpent Guards did the same, didn't they?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, they're the same. Abracan Guard are increased by a point. Yeah, I think that's fine. You can still take.
Too cheap.
Huh?
They were too cheap.
Yeah, they were too cheap, so that 1 point is just makes them a bit more balanced. So you may
now have to pick between their bows and their 2 attacks.
Yeah.
And they dropped the defense.
Yeah, Watchers have definitely been nerfed. You may still see some, but
yeah,
not
they're
as many.
terrible. They kept all the special rules and they have Hatred Spirits.
Yeah, they have.
Fringe use.
For some reason, they've got Hatred to Spirits, and they get +2 to their Courage when being attacked by someone with the Blades of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yay, I guess. I guess that's a law type thing.
It's just the law they made up for them.
Yeah.
But Mahud's next. But I've played Mahud, and you're starting them up now.
Time for good old Mahud. So they've army bonus. They've got Warrior Pride back. So if they're a warrior is within 6 inches of a friendly Mahud hero who's engaged in combat, they automatically pass a Courage check, which is pretty awesome.
Deserve it.
Yeah. Mahud King has been buffed, hasn't he? So he's
he
now
just went up an attack.
Just an attack, yeah.
I think he went up an attack for 5 points, which is probably worth it.
Yeah. He also still has Heroic Strike, which is pretty awesome and very useful. As we.
I mean, any model that's Fight 5, Strength 5 with 3 attacks is.
Yeah.
When you mount them up, they go through stuff.
And you can give them a War Spear as well.
Yes.
Which is better than 2-handed weapon.
Essentially on the charge, Fight 5, Strength 7 with 3 attacks. They just go through it. They
and
go through dwarves. I've played this dude into dwarves, and they just go through it. He just goes through them.
Yeah.
Like they're nothing.
And that's if the target survives the charge.
Yeah, and that was back when he only had 2 attacks. They still went through them. So
yeah.
he's really good. Mahud Kings are really good.
Tribesmen the same?
Yeah. You just take a king for 20 points.
Yeah.
It goes up a fight, an attack, and a will, which is worth it.
Yep.
But then you might want the march. You might want to include one just for the march. But...
Yeah, that's fair. Next up, you got the War Mummock of Farharad. So it's exactly the same as the Harad Mummock, or Serpent Horde Mummock, I should say. However, you have to buy the 25-point upgrade for a Beastman Chieftain. Yeah. Doesn't make too much difference. The Warriors are the same.
Are they all the same as they were before?
Hood Warriors?
Hood Warriors look the same, Raiders look the same, and Half Trolls.
Well, I was just saying the basic warrior. But yeah, I think all of them, stat-wise, are the same. Good old Half Trolls are still the same.
Were they Courage 1 before Half Trolls, or were they always 2?
No, still Courage 2. Pretty sure.
Okay.
There might be one, but then they're buffed. So the big change is good old camels. So, biggest issue with camels in the old rule was their Impaler rule had a bit of a flaw to it. So, if you charge to combat with a war camel, you inflict 1 strength 4 hit on 1 model that you've charged. If you killed them in the old rules, you'd stop. Nothing else had happened, you charged in and killed the person. However, in the new rules, you can continue moving if you kill the target. This isn't limited to the first person. So,
as far as we can tell, you just keep going like chariots and mummocks and stuff.
So you've either killed like 5 or 6 models in the charge phase, or you've killed a couple and you got into combat. Or you're in combat.
Because in the old rules, the way you had to do it, even if you killed the model and got counter charge, you still got your charge bonus. That was an FAQ. But you had to do it so you had this camel charges 2, because then if he kills one, then he's still fighting one. This camel charges 2 if he kills this one. And you had to like set your moves up really awkwardly.
But then that meant that if you didn't kill one, you're down to 2.
Yeah,
which
you
you may
had
not
to,
want
and you had to try and break down fights, and then at the end you always had probably 2 models that were on more dudes than you wanted them to be on.
Yeah. This is just a massive quality of life change.
Are these better than chariots? They're a lot easier to kill.
Easier to kill, easier to use.
Yeah, the freedom of movement. Yeah. It's gonna have to now to me trying out chariots and seeing how big of a deal the restricted movement is, because it looks like a huge deal, but it's how playable around it is.
Also, smaller base, so you can get more.
Smaller base is a really big deal too.
Yeah,
these bases are huge, man. Just enormous.
Yeah, it's the troll base, isn't it? Where it's like, just go.
But yeah, all mounted Mahud is probably the best way to play it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You're gonna have to put up with that dog. There's nothing I can do about it, I'm afraid.
So we've only got Corsairs and Sharky's Rogues left.
Yeah, let's race through these.
Coming up to 3.5 hours.
Yeah, let's race through these. No one cares. Which one do you want to do?
I'll do Corsairs, I guess. So Corsairs army bonus. They get backstabbers. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's fine.
They can also get they get the Knight of Umbar and Hashiran and Black Numerians in their list, which is kind of cool. Dalamir, 90 points.
3.5 hours well spent.
He's good. He's gained a will point?
A might and a will, I believe he was.
Is it might and a will? Was he literally just a Hashiran?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
smoke bombs.
Decreased by 10 points. He's got smoke bombs, a might and a will, and that's it.
Yeah, he's just better.
Yeah. Of course, the captains are now 5.
I think they're the same.
Yeah, I think they were always 5-5. Swords for an axis. Bosuns have been increased in points.
Have they?
I think. I don't think they were 45. I could be wrong. But they're still a 3-inch balance of their guys.
Dan pointed this out. Normal warriors are 7 points. They come with throwing daggers, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it's alright.
5-4 model with throwing daggers, but they are only defense free, so
yeah,
they get eaten for it, really.
I'll quickly mention Arbalisters, the exact same. Yeah, no difference. And now the good old, very very simple. I'm happy. I'm happy that Jay wrote a nice simple rule for these guys. The Corsair Reavers.
They have this really weird rule where they basically If they're near the bosun, they auto pass courage. They take courage every turn. If they're near the bosun, they auto pass. If they fail, they've got to charge the nearest enemy model. If there aren't any, they've got to charge friendly models, and they fight them. And they get bonuses to wound when they fail the test, and then you could choose to auto fail it. It's so weird. It's so complicated. I imagine that once you play it like 2 or 3 times, it'll be really easy to understand.
Yeah.
But reading these rules was just...
Hey, you can also, one thing to note is you can choose to fail the courage check automatically if you wish.
Yeah.
And you get +1 to wound, and don't take courage checks for terror.
Oh, so that's only when you auto fail. It's not when you just normally fail. These guys I think they're okay. They're not fight 5 anymore because they shouldn't be.
They're completely
They're fight 4 and they're defense 3, not defense 4. And they're slightly cheaper. But they might be good. Yeah. Fight 4, 2 attacks, effective strength 5.
I think Corsair players will be happy with this. Everyone else will also be happy with this because they're not fighting Grievous with axes. Yeah,
the only thing is that you don't get to choose to auto-fail the test if you are pinned because it's part of their movement.
Yeah.
So you can pin Corsairs and then they're just kind of meh. I don't know, they might be okay.
Yeah, still 2 attacks, fight 4.
Yeah, not great though.
Not terrible for 9 points. But yeah.
Courage 4 too. But, yeah,
no ideal.
They're kind of weird, we'll just have to see. Sharky's Rogues, their army bonus is that Sharky's stand fast affects the entire battlefield, and you can take warbands of ruffians of 10 to 12 without leaders, because they don't have any. Sharky will range 60 points for both, they're pretty much exactly the same, except Worms gained a rule where if when he sneaks active, when eyes are elsewhere, Worm skulks about doing his master's murderous bidding. When making a duel roll for a fight where Worm is engaged, check to see if any enemy models, except for those he is fighting, can see him. If only the models Worm is fighting can see him, immediately increases fight value to 4 and his attacks to 3 for the duel roll. I don't know if this is ever going to happen.
No.
I can't imagine this ever happening, but if it does, what an animal.
He has to basically fight someone behind a wall.
Yeah. I mean, but he still kills Sharky if no one's nearby.
Yeah.
Or, if Sharky's reduced to 0, to 1 wound with no fate remaining. But it's a buff, I guess. He's better than he was. I can't imagine it ever happening. And then Ruffians are exactly the same, except
they're increased by points, right?
They only hit on 5, where I think before they hit on a 4, they went up a point value, but they gained a rule that's Atom Lads for fighting hobbits. They get +1 fight value when they're fighting hobbits, and then instead of making strikes, a Ruffian can attempt to bind a hobbit in chains. And then when they do, you nominate 1 hobbit model from the fight and roll d6 if the score is higher than the target strength, the model is bound. Treat it as though it's been paralysed. These guys are worse than they were. Because you're probably not going to get that many hobbit matchups. And even when you do, the rule's only okay. The points isn't worth the upgrade. No. But just don't play them. Don't ever play them. The only reason these guys are here is because they made models for them once.
Yeah.
And don't be the dude that runs 200 ruffians. It sounds funny, it's not going to be fun.
It's also going to be expensive.
Just buy, you buy like Gripping Beast or something, because they don't sell them anymore, and then not go to GW tournaments. It's what people do.
Yeah.
I mean, if they sold them again, and you want to buy 200 ruffians in metal, be my guest. Yeah, I'd love to play against it with chariots. It has 1 might in the army, and they're all defense free. It'd be pretty fun, but yeah.
So that's it for all the armies now.
Let's not talk about the Allies Matrix, because there's a lot
to go on with the Allies Matrix, and this is
a really big, huge, like 2 pages of rules.
Basically, we're going to have to play a lot to understand this properly, because there's going to be, guaranteed, there's going to be some broken allies. Do we know what they are now? No. Will we? Maybe. It may take years.
These are our guesses of what's going to be good.
Yeah.
The thing is that even now, because it's hard, unlike video games where you can play whatever you want, you've got to set up games of Hobbit and Lord of the Rings because they're in real life, and you've got to have the situation. There's also much less players than most video games, and the games take a lot longer, so the sample size of people practicing competitively is much smaller, which means it takes a much longer time to figure out combinations.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why even now, tournaments this year, people are still figuring stuff out for the game. the top 3 lists of Articon, 2 of them didn't have a wizard in, which is pretty much completely unexpected. Everyone pretty much thinks you have to run wizards.
It was like when I first joined the GBHL in, was it 2016, the best list was Goblin Town. No one runs Goblin Town anymore.
I think they just got bored of it. I think that's
the meta is just, even though the books have been out for years, the meta's changed. So
the limited player pool really changes things.
Yeah, it's going to be
these
crazy.
These are just first impressions. We're guessing. Just play the rules, try them out. That's an overview of the rules and what we think. If there's some things we're certain about, it's whether profiles got better or worse. But how good they are in relation to one another in the game is much harder for us to figure out. Did Candace Chariots get better? Yes, they did. Did the Tainted get better? Yes, they did. Did Watch Connor get worse? Yes, they did. But are Candace Chariots broken? I don't really know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Are Eagles broken? Yeah, I think so. But that's all we can give you, sadly. It's the best we can do.
Yeah. We may, I guess, it'd be a long time in the future if we were to do like a follow-up to this.
What was that? Sorry, you could do a full...
To do a follow-up.
Yeah,
it
would be another year, at least.
I think
let things play out.
It might be cool to... Because we're both going to Sterling.
Yeah.
It might be cool to...
Do a journey vlog or something.
Or do a stream discussing some of the things at Sterling.
That'd be cool. Sterling's the next big tournament for... because there's so many players going, because a lot of them are very good players, like Jamie and Harry.
50?
Yeah, they're pretty much sold out. I think there's 1 ticket left, so if you want to go, get on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of players going. That's going to be the big tournament. I think there's 1 or 2 more before that. I don't remember exactly, but that's the next.
There's a few other tournaments, but I think because of... I think it's the next 100-point event, which may have some form of a meta, because it's like a month or 2 months basically of people practicing, whereas I think the other ones are too sooner.
Sorry, no, you finished. Sorry, I thought you were trailing off your sentence.
I was saying so that's the next 100-point where I think there's going to be a meta, because sooner events you're not going to have enough practice and people are going to be just trying stuff out.
But I think people will still be trying stuff out at Sterling, just running out the fun stuff and the cool stuff.
To be fair, the league finale in December, I'll be surprised if there's a solid meta.
Alright, so let's do 4 little things before we finish.
There's only one more thing I want to add.
Okay.
Is have a look at all of the previous competitive armies and look at the rules now.
Which ones?
All of them have been nerfed. Except one, which is Lake Town, because Lake Town has not been redone yet. So, if Jade does not nerf Lake Town in the Hobbit's book,
yeah, pretty much.
There may be some issues here, but I expect them to get some kind of nerf.
In all seriousness, we'd hope a kind of nerf. I think Bard's too good for his points, but it's not like a terribly overpowered list.
No.
Like it's not like horrible, like say Fell Beasts or Watchers or anything like that, but it's just, it feels too good. But there's some lists in here that feel too good as well, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I was going to do a rapid fire thing, like at the end, sort of 4 things where you give your free models or free armies. So which do you think were the biggest single model losers for the rules change? Which 3 models do you think lost out the most?
Knight of Umbar.
Okay. It can be profiles for warriors too.
Ferals.
Ferals, okay. I know it's hard right at the end.
Wood Elves?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think they lost, but I don't think they were terrible. I would say, I'd agree with Knight. He was hit really hard. I'd say Roses. Just a flat 2-point increase in the Elven Cloak. I think they got hit pretty hard by this edition, but that might be offset by the army bonus. In only your army.
But I was going to say, it's like...
work in your army.
They can only ally with Rohan, so it only works with the foot Rohan, so yeah, I guess that's fair. And
then, maybe Watchers, maybe Reavers. Watchers still seem okay.
I think both of them are still alright.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just think Ferals are trash.
Oh, Black Shields maybe, thinking about Black Shields. Maybe too bad. They lost out quite a lot. But I don't know, it's hard to say. 3 biggest winners. 3 single model biggest winners.
Tainted.
Tainted, baby. Yeah, he's my number one. On that
Just
list.
complete SWAT. Yeah.
Right down its head.
My natural reaction is Balrog.
Oh really?
Because he's actually viable.
Too. It doesn't have to be heroes.
Yeah. But it's like he's actually viable now. So I'd say Balrog. I don't want to say Candace Chariots because I think it may be too soon to say Candace Chariots.
You can say them. You can say them if you want.
Betrayer.
The Betrayer. Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm going to go the 3 biggest individual profiles.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry. Eagles. Instead of Betrayer.
Eagles on my list. So I was going to say the Tainted, Eagles, and Candace Chariots we'll say is the biggest winner because I think they've swerved from being pretty bad to almost very good, I think. So those would be my top 3. And then 2 more top 3s. Which 3 armies do you think lost out the most? So this can either be factions or army competitive builds. So which 3 do you think would hit the hardest this edition? Strange.
Just looking through all the armies now.
Do you want me to do my 3? So I think the Fell Beast list was hit the hardest, specifically in the named one. The unnamed, you might be able to go back onto unnamed and play them again. But I think named Wraiths competitive list was hit really hard. The sort of Watcher, Reaver, backed up by stuff with 2 Fell Beast lists, those lists were hit really hard. And then I'm not sure about Hobbits Elves. I'm going to say Hobbits Elves because if you can't do them, they're just completely gone. But because Elves got so much better, there's a chance... Hobbits got a lot worse, but Elves got a lot better. There's a chance that they're still playable. But I'm going to go with Hobbits and Elves. But I could be wrong on that one.
And this is... Sorry, the armies that have been hit the hardest.
Yeah. And it can be factions. It doesn't have to be competitive army builds.
Hobbits.
Hobbits?
Just Hobbits on their own, I think.
Yeah, that's probably a better call than I made.
Yeah. Can I say my Rohan Elf list?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Agree with that. That's gone. That list is ruined. Then I'm going to go for another good list in Doran's Folk because it lost so many heroes.
Oh, okay. I still think they're okay. I'm wondering whether Dorian plus Burley Warriors might be better.
It's either Doran's Folk or Lothlorien.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the top 3 lists which you think won out the most. Lists or factions?
Lake Town, because it's not been nerfed.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Lake Town because everything else has been nerfed and it's not had its nerf yet. Well, hopefully. Rohan, 100%.
Okay.
And then Eagles.
Yeah, so I'll overlap with Eagles and Rohan. I was tempted to say Harad, but I think that they were already good as a faction.
You
it's
just
a different
change.
build that's gotten good, so I won't say Harad, I'll say Numenor.
Yeah.
I think the Numenor changes were huge for that. So I think that's our biggest... those top 3s are interesting. The Tainted, man, I love the Tainted. But, yeah. Okay, so do we have a sign-off? I don't know.
Not really, I guess. This has been, what? We started at 4.
So 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Quarter to 8. It's going to take a while, but I'm going to be up... I may edit this. I don't know if I can be bothered.
Sorry. Did you just crop out that one bit where the mic was rubbish?
Yeah.
I mean, it might still be bad, to be honest. It should be
people seem to be saying it's alright.
Yeah, people were interacting, so hopefully it wasn't completely embarrassing.
So I might like cut off like the start and then the messing about with the mics. But I'll upload this onto the Hobbits of Cheshire YouTube page. Yeah, hopefully, as we said, we'll do like a Sterling review. Probably won't do one for Throne of Skulls because we'll probably do one for the league finale unless we want to wrap that into one. I'm not sure if you're going Throne of Skulls.
When is it?
The week before finale.
Probably not.
Probably not now.
Maybe.
Yeah. You're going to
Yeah.
Stockport doubles, aren't you?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
as a heads up, Stockport doubles is end of October. Please go to that. It's going to be really fun. It was really fun last year. First chance to run out really stupid stuff because it's a doubles as well for the new edition. It's going to be really fun. If anyone can get down to that, it's worth going. Sterling only has one ticket left, but it's a fantastic event, potentially the best on the calendar. The Scots run a really great event, it's just really fun. Had a great time last year. So I would really recommend, if you can, with the one ticket left, getting down to it. Be cool to sort it out. And then Gethin's running League Finale, which is the 8th, 9th, 7th, 8th of December.
It's the second weekend in December.
The weekend after Fair of Schools, rather unfortunately.
Yeah. It's currently got all the tickets reserved. We are going to be increasing it, but I think there's enough people on the reserve list to cover that. However, if you do want to come to the finale, get into contact with me. If you wait like a month or two, you're not going to get a ticket, I don't think.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Sometimes drop tickets. If you get yourself on the reserve list, it's good.
Yeah.
It's 650 points.
Yeah, 650 single.
Games. Single army, not good and evil.
Yeah, just one single. Yeah.
Because normally you run good and or evil, right?
I've done that for the 80-point event, yeah. But for the 100-point, no. Let's see what else. Reading sold out. And Jack and Liam's Birmingham event hasn't gone up yet, but that's last weekend in November. That's probably going to be really good. Jack and Liam are really good.
Jack and Liam are cool guys. Yeah. If I can get down to that, I'll be going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that won't be too bad because there's straight. I know there's straight chain from Chester.
I've got a lot of weekends booked off around now, though. I'm trying to get a job when you're signing off on like 8 weekends in 3 months is pretty difficult. But...
so that'll be it for the events, I guess.
Yeah. So have fun with the new edition. It's looking really good.
Enjoy the new edition.
Really interesting to see what everyone's going to do.
Be sure to if you're watching this, you're still not sure on like certain rules. Obviously, we haven't played a lot, but we have general understanding of how the rules work, and I'm an incredible rules lawyer when it comes to picky things. So yeah, Josh is rolling his
games, so we've got a general idea of how not just like war games, video games too, but different types of war games, card games. Yeah. So we've like a lot of other people in the community, so we do have a general idea of how stuff like this plays. It's not like we're not experts, we're not top table players. We're sort of upper middle table players. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. If you're on the Twitch, follow Gethin's channel. He does gaming videos as well, like online gaming videos too. And we will probably do more of these in the future, so you get notified when we go live.
Maybe do some more talks with invite a couple of other people on.
Yeah, it'd be super cool to get more people on to chat about specific lists and stuff. When this goes up on the channel, assuming it does go up, which we hope it will, like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that. It's super cool. It gets going. It's really nice. As we're not trying to do this to speed loads of traffic or anything. It's just nice to chat to people about the game. We are the biggest community in Chester. We've got a decent chunk of people, but it can be difficult to get regular games because a lot of people are busy. So it's nice to talk about the game, especially online with people. So just chat, get involved.
So, I was going to say if there is anyone who is around the Chester area. Be sure to join our Facebook group, Chester Middle Earth SBG group, I believe it is now.
It changed recently, so...
Yeah, Chester Middle Earth SBG group. We meet weekly on Tuesdays, occasionally on Fridays at the local games workshop, and then I try and run quarterly events. So hope you guys... you try and post the link.
Yeah, I tried to post the link and it automatically deleted it.
I think
I allowed links in Twitch.
There you go. Me and Dan can post links.
Wonderful.
Yeah, gotta be a mod, bro. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and be sure for the YouTube channel as well. Be sure to put any comments if you think that we're idiots, if you think we missed anything.
Yeah, it's nice to chat to people, and we, as I say, we could be wrong. It's very likely we're wrong on at least some things. It's pretty much certain. We could be wrong on all of it. So. It's nice to talk about it. It's interesting to talk about it. So just get comments in, chat about it. And I guess that's us signing off.
Yeah, I guess.
Wonderful.
So,
bye.
See you guys.
See ya.